kung sa Philhealth mo talaga to dinala. Pero ang theory po is hindi talaga niya dinala to sa Philhealth office. Just like in the previous case of Land Bank, may intercept na yung check. And then, the check, bakit siya na-clear? Then the syndicate also has corrupted an employee of the bank who is in charge of the clearing. Yung clearing po, supposed to be, meron siyang ka-corresponding, yung checks po na ini-issue ng Accenture, meron siyang corresponding check of similar amount. Parang tawag po namin doon is counterpart check. So the counterpart check is the one deposited in the bank. However, since the manual po yung clearing, this bank employee intercepts, nasa kanya na yung intercepted Citibank check. So what he will do is that hinahanap niya kung ano yung corresponding amount ng Citibank check which was deposited to a private account. Tapos ang gagawin po niya, dudukutin niya, siya po kasi yung in charge doon sa listing, kumbaga sa clearing. So since manual, dudukutin niya yung...
Ma'am, sa mga tuwido, parang minamatch niya yung pinipeke nila para magmukhang nandun talaga yung pondo.
Yes, sir. Ang gagawin, hindi. Parang imamatch niya po, parang pinalalabas niya, merong actual deposit sa private sa private account. Tapos, ang gagawin po niya, since yung tinatawag na counterpart check is actually dubious check, kumbaga wala po itong value or coming from a closed account, ipapalit niya ngayon po sa clearing.
Attorney General, I will recognize the Honorable Barbers para magtuloy siya ng tanong. Go ahead, Congressman Barbers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Attorney, I suppose meron kang investigation report na pinasa o sinubmit sa NBI, di ba?
Yes, sir, meron po.
At ito pong kwento na sinasabi nyo are all stipulated in that report, I also suppose, right?
Yes, sir.
Including ho ba dito, yung sinabi nyo kasi kanina, narinig ko, in-interview nyo yung messenger ba yun? Meron bang mga affidavits na in-issue yung messenger na yun tungkol dyan?
Yes, sir. Meron siyang in-issue affidavit. Yun nga lang po, we treated it as untruthful.
Ano po yun? Meron po bang affidavit yung messenger?
Sir, meron pong affidavit yung messenger. However, we've considered it as untruthful.
On the basis...
Hindi po siya nagsasabi ng totoo.
So, if I were to conclude kung ano po yung storya dun sa investigation nyo, parang yung sindikato, kasabwat dito yung messenger. At saka yung mga...
Yes, sir. Isa po siya sa
pati yung mga taga-bangko.
Tsaka Philhealth.
Meron, parang ang naging po niya ng setup is, I have a cohort in all aspects of the transaction.
Okay, sige
so
po.
that I can make the cover-up.
Base ho dun sa investigation nyo, sino ho sa PhilHealth employees ang liable? Ang may liability ho dyan sa isyung yan?
Actually, sir, yun nga po, the NBI is actually asking them for a forensic examination of the database. However, due to the turn of events po kasi, because during the investigation of...
Attorney, can you be specific? Ano yung turn of events na sinasabi nyo?
Sorry, yung nagkaroon po ng amicable settlement between four parties.
Is the one that stopped you from further investigating. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Because of the absence of complaining witnesses.
Okay.
And then, and at the same time, during that event din po kasi, we are also doing the investigation of one of the biggest scam in the Philippines. If you will remember, if you will recall, Aman Future scam. So it's also a case that we were handling that time.
So,
Kaya po, since
as attorney na hindi nyo na na-pursue yun because one, may sudden turn of events because PhilHealth decided to just settle amicably with Accenture, and two, you were too busy to conduct your further investigation because you were tied up with the Aman scam. Tama po ba yun?
yes sir, opo.
Oh, ngayon, kasi attorney, kaya ang tanong ko, sino sa taga PhilHealth yung nakita nyong liable dyan?
Sir, initial assessment is that there was an intrusion in the IT system. Kasi nga po merong floats, now, which is unusual.
Okay.
Kumbaga sa fraud po kasi it's a deviation from the normal procedure that there's a float on that particular na pending for 10 months for this particular corporation na nakapending siya, pero nag-conduct na daw sila ng audit, pero nakita pa rin siya.
Attorney, in your investigation, did you also find out that the checks that was supposed to be deposited to PhilHealth but never happened and was diverted to another account in Metrobank, pero sa PhilHealth records, it reflected na paid siya? Lumabas ba yun sa inyong investigation?
Sir, ang lumabas lang nga po, just as I stated before, it was a reconciliation float in their system, which was discovered by their Treasury Department. May initial reports din po yung IT system nila. That's why they had a referral to our office regarding these floats. Pero ang clear po doon, merong intrusion coming from an insider fraud.
Yan. Yeah.
Honorable Barbers,
Yes, because there's kumbaga po sa computer, I had a remote, and one employee had a remote access on those particular crucial period when the float was discovered. Kumbaga po parang inalter yung data to make it appear that these payments were actually received by Philhealth.
Mr. Limsiaco, tanungin ko lang po, kasi 5 buwan nangyari to. Yung po bang cash at saka yung IT na pumapasok, hindi po ba kayo nagre-reconcile dyan? Kasi nakita, may cheque, pinost. Let's say, sa aking pagkakalam, sa Pasig to. So alam niyo yung collection dun sa NCR. Hindi niyo ba marireconcile kagad kung walang cash o kulang yung cash based on dun sa posting?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang proseso natin ngayon, ang collection for the day of our collecting agent, kinabukasan po ay i-remit na po nila, and the corresponding remittance report po ay sinasubmit na sa opisina, and reconciliation is being done right away, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Ano mangyari to? Hindi pa ganon?
Hindi pa during that time, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, mayroon pang float ang ating mga collecting agents na I think that's 15 days, Your Honor.
Hindi, ito 5 months to eh. Anyway, that was not your time, no? When this happened. Honorable Barsaga, may tatanong ho ata?
Sige. Manong, just one. Kay Mr. Banchon lang sana itatanong ko before I yield to
Yes.
Congressman Barsaga.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Banchon,
Yes, Your Honor.
you were the president during the time that this incident happened, correct?
Your Honor, no, Your Honor. I became president and we were the one who caught this. All of this happened before I became president, Your Honor.
So it happened before you became president.
Yes, Your Honor. I became president on October 17, 2011, and this was reported to me.
Finding out that this incident happened, what was your first move?
I immediately have an investigation, Your Honor. So when it was reported to me that there was this discrepancy, we immediately have an internal investigation. Then what we did, Your Honor, is that all those with access to the database, we remove access from the database. They were eventually put in 90-day preventive suspension, and then the investigation started. In addition to that, Your Honor, we reported this to the NBI and the Anti-Money Laundering Council. Third, Your Honor, is that we reached out to Accenture and demanded what we eventually, the premiums that were diverted that eventually came out at 114 million, Your Honor.
I was informed also, Mr. Banson, that you replaced the head of the IT department because when you found out that there was such an issue, immediately tinanggal nyo yung head, yung Mr. Mario Matanggihan.
Your Honor, he was, if I recall it correctly, Your Honor, it's been quite a while. I think I removed him before we discovered this.
And you replaced him with whom?
Your Honor,
Wait lang, mga kabagsik.
what we
May
had
babaguhan
was
lang
we
ako.
brought in a new chief information officer.
Sa inyong investigasyon, nakita nyo ba kung sino ang pumirma at kung saan branch ng Philhealth in-issue ang receipt?
Bale po dun sa resibo, when we traced, pero yung series po niya, yung receipts na yon, ay hindi officially issued ng PhilHealth. Kumbaga fake po siya.
Mga fake receipts.
Apo.
At yung pangalan na nag-appear doon sa resibong peke ng PhilHealth ay peke rin, not a true employee of PhilHealth.
Inano po namin siya, tinrace namin kung may particular employee na yun yung name. Pero na-determine po, may pangalan na ganon na employee. Pero hindi naman po duly issued yung mga receipts. Kasi parang ibang branch, nga rin po, Pasig, supposedly naka-assign yung employee. Pero yung resibo, naka-issue, allegedly, coming from Buendia branch. Pero it turns out po that these receipts are fake.
Resibo. Saang branch ng PhilHealth nag-appear na tinanggap?
Sir, I will just go over the records po ulit.
Hindi
I will check po all the receipts lang that I have.
Mr. Chair, pasingit lang ho.
Go ahead, Honorable Barbers.
I hope you don't mind. Gusto ko lang tanungin ulit si Mr. Banson kung meron bang during your time when you were the president of PhilHealth at nangyari, meron kang investigation dito, did you recommend the filing of charges against those employees allegedly involved in this scam?
Your Honor, nang tumakbo na po yung administrative investigation, hindi umalis po ako ng PhilHealth ang January 14. 14 ba?
So, hindi mo na inabot kung may
Hindi na po. Tuloy-tuloy pa po. Wala pa pong sinadmit sa akin na findings po yung ad hoc committee.
Who was investigating that?
Your Honor, hindi ko po ma-recall exactly, no? Kung sino po yung nakabuo, yung nandun sa ad hoc committee. Pag sinabi kanina po ni Atty. Pucalan, si Atty. Adarlo, pero hindi ko po exactly masabi kung sino na po na-assign doon. Medyo matagal na ho.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Attorney Ritanal? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Barsaga, pagsagot po ni Atty. Ritanal, actually klaro naman yung kaso natin as presented by the Honorable Barbers dun sa mga pinisintang mga dokumento rito. At ang importante rito, mabantayan talaga natin na mapangangalagaan yung pondo. I think very critical yung IT rito. And syempre, in our case, gusto rin natin makita bakit ganito yung naging resulta, bakit hindi nagtuloy-tuloy yung pag-prosecute ng kaso. Go ahead, Atty. Ritanal.
Yes, sir. Meron pong yung mga receipts po na receive ng Accenture is coming from Makati office. Makati Service Office. Doon po nagbabayad, allegedly doon nagbabayad yung messenger. Pero it turns out nga po that these receipts, even the series of receipts, are spurious.
Okay, attorney, yung more or less ang puncheke, ang lahat ng resibo na peke ay issue ng Makati PhilHealth branch office. Tama
Apo.
ba?
Kumbaga sir, kung face value, iti-take mo siya na galing siya sa Makati Service Office.
Pagkatapos,
Tapos sir, merong ding na...
thank you very much for that answer. Pagkatapos, kahit na ang resibo na peke ay inisyu sa Makati, ang deposit naman ay nangyari sa Batangas.
Sir, as I explained nga po kanina,
Pagkasikot lamang, kung tama na na-deposit sa Batangas Bank. O hindi?
bali sir, yung proceeds po ng checks na na clear sa Batangas.
Batangas.
Opo.
Na ang check ay payable sa PhilHealth, hindi naman pumasok sa account ng PhilHealth. Next
Apo.
question. Yung paglilinaw kanina ni Congressman Barbers, ang sabi mo, because of the turn of events and because of the amicable settlement, hindi na napursue ang criminal case. Tama ba ang pagkakaintindi ko sa tanong at sagot ni Congressman Barbers?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Kasi po, during the pendency of investigation, kumbaga po, nakapending pa siya, ongoing pa rin yung investigation. And then we learned, actually we were not officially informed. We just learned that there was an amicable settlement between 4 parties covering the whole amount of 114 million.
Paano nyo nalaman na meron palang settlement if you were not informed?
Honorable Barsaga, we have your attorney Asuncion. Was this during, wala na ba? Ano lang po. Sige, go ahead, Congressman Barsaga.
Attorney, kung hindi ka in-inform officially or informally ng investigation ng settlement, paano mo laman na merong settlement?
Sir, we considered it as intelligence information because
As a lawyer, alam mo naman siguro na kung magkakaroon ng settlement sa PhilHealth, kinakailangan there must be a board resolution authorizing the settlement.
sir, since we respect because it's a fellow government agency who's actually asked us to do investigation, and they were while we are doing the criminal aspect investigation, the criminal aspect, there's also a corresponding administrative aspect. Though para po nung una nagko-collaborate kami. I want to share din po kasi na what's peculiar also is that the one who accessed, we determined as the one who accessed and make alteration in the IT system has been about 3 years na po siyang hindi nagsasubmit ng DTR. Actually, hindi na siya
Okay.
sumusweldo, pero may access pa rin siya.
Being part of the investigation, nalaman mo ba nagkaroon ng PhilHealth Board Resolution number 1643 series of 2012?
Sir, hindi
you.
hindi na po kami nga po na-provide ng resolution because what I remember is that there's a confidentiality clause in the amicable settlement which I'm not really privy of. Yun po siguro yung kaya yung other parties when we were asking them.
Well, as a lawyer, alam mo naman, there would be the corresponding board resolution, and once the board resolution has been issued, the next step legally will be the compromise agreement or the settlement. Insofar as confidentiality is concerned, that would be the provisions of the settlement or the compromise agreement. Will that be a correct appreciation, Panyera?
Yes. Yes, sir. Because it's a corporation, government corporation, it has to be a corresponding board resolution should be issued for that
Kaya
purpose.
ang tanong ko, bagamat hindi ka nabigyan ng board resolution, nakita mo ba o nabasa yung board resolution authorizing for the settlement of the 114 million involving the account of Accenture? So,
No, sir.
settlement will result to the extinction of the civil liability.
No, sir. We were not provided with any copy of resolution, amicable settlement whatsoever.
Mentioned a while ago, because of the turn of events, hindi na kayo nagpursue ng criminal case. Pero dito sa board resolution, katulad ng sinabi ni Congressman Barbers last time, last paragraph, resolve finally that PhilHealth management is expected to continue with its efforts and coordinate with the various government agencies to hold the perpetrators of this nefarious activity accountable and liable to the government. Well, anyway, one last point. Nagkaroon ng settlement. Are you aware of that?
Bali, sir, nalaman na lang po namin parang after na.
After the settlement.
Yes, sir. After settlement. Kasi pa may ongoing investigation. The investigation is continuing. However, since nung nagkaroon po ng settlement, no communication whatsoever was provided to us by Philhealth and also the other parties who requested investigation from us.
Limited ang time natin. Ang sabi mo kanina, hindi nyo pinarsu ang investigation sapagkat ang criminal case kasi nagkaroon na ng amicable settlement. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Pagkatapos, alam mo rin siguro na sa amicable settlement, katulad ng sinasabi namin dito, 95% lamang ang babayaran instead of 114 million. Did you come to know about that information?
Sir, we did not actually have the information as to the sharing, as to those amounts. Actually po, to be honest, we only learned about the percentage.
Hindi raw alam ng inyong abogado na nag-iimbestiga yung settlement. Sino ang makakasagot? Dr. Pargas?
Mr. Chair, no. I
Hindi mo
don't...
rin alam?
Anyway, Honorable Barsaga, we were able to establish yung facts about this case.
Okay.
And I think, yeah, ang dapat nating posisyon dito talaga, ipursu pa rin yung kaso.
Just based on the records which they have submitted, ang babayaran 108 million, ang pinagtataka ko, nagbayad ang Metrobank ng 62 million, nagbayad ang Citibank ng 22 million, pati Accenture nagbayad ng 22 million.
Sige.
Barsaga.
So sa madaling sabi, Accenture hindi nakapagbayad ng 114 million. Ang binayad lang nila 22 million.
Parang ang nangyari po dyan ata pinaghati-hatian ng tatlo. Yung naging problema.
Yes.
Okay?
Pero dapat sana, pinagbayad na ng buo ng 114,000, yung difference na 5,703,000, dapat magbayad na Accenture. Kasi ang liability ng Accenture is 114 million. Pero ang binayad lamang nila, 22 million. And the remainder were shouldered by the two banks based on the records which you have submitted. Unfortunately, wala na naman makasagot sa PhilHealth. And this is a big amount.
Yes. Honorable Barsaga, before we continue, andito po si Atty. Asuncion. Si Mr. Banson was the CEO at that time. After the stint of President Banson, Atty. Asuncion became the COO. No? Siya po yung Chief Operating Officer ng PhilHealth. Diyan din po nakapasok, kaya natin siya tinawag on the question of yung pong question ng amicable settlement with Cardinal Santos Hospital. So, Attorney Asuncion, can you reply to the Honorable Barsaga on this particular case?
Case, Your Honor.
Accenture.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, insofar as the Accenture case is concerned, I believe it didn't pass through the legal. I mean,
Sandali po,
insofar
Attorney Asuncion.
as the-
Dumaan po sa kayo na po yung COO nung
No,
magkaroon kami
I was the SVP legal, Your Honor. I was newly appointed at the time
at that time.
when this Accenture came up.
Go ahead.
So, well,
Hindi ho dumaan sa legal. Tuloy niyo po.
that's how I recall it, Your Honor. I can't even recall if I was shown of the board resolution so far as Accenture is concerned, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, at least,
Iklaro ko lang ho kayo po yung SVP legal, hindi pa ko yung COO na that time. Pero,
Hindi po ako naging COO, Mr. Chair,
oh, I'm sorry.
Your Honor.
So, SVP legal po kayo, hindi dumaan sa inyo itong kasong to.
Well, I know about the Accenture case, but insofar as the settlement is concerned, I wasn't informed about it. As far as I recall, Your Honor, I
Mr.
wasn't
Chair,
informed about it.
Honorable Marcoleta.
Attorney Asuncion, at the very least, you know who the members of the board who approved the settlement.
Pardon, Your Honor, I didn't get. I'm sorry.
Do you know the members of the board at that time that the settlement was approved?
Who were the members, Your Honor?
Do you know who are the members of the board?
I can't actually recall who were all the who were
Bakit
the
kaya
members,
ganito, Mr. Chair, pag
who were the members of the board, Your Honor?
tinatanong mo sila ng diretso, wala silang kahit
No, it's
punates.
in the PBR, Your Honor. The PBR that was presented.
Attorney Asuncion, pwede ba makinig ka muna sa tanong?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Kung hindi mo alam yung mga members ng board nung panahon na in-approve yung settlement na yan, at least meron kang may pakikitang record ngayon bago tayo magtapos rito kung sino-sino yung members ng board na nag-approve niyan. Kasi at that time, ikaw ang Senior Vice President for Legal. I am very sure isinangguni naman siguro sa iyo yan. Kasi kanina pa ako nakikinig, alam mo, ang isang bagay na kriminal kahit kailan hindi pwedeng isettle. That is against public policy. As a lawyer, alam mo yan eh. Yung sinasabi nilang close doon, palusot lang yun. Na kunwari, hahabulin pa rin kung sino yung nagkasala. Kunwari lamang yun, attorney. Nakita mo ngayon, the NBI can no longer pursue that. Wala nang titestigo dyan. Wala nang magkikipag-cooperate dyan. Tapos na yan. May ganyan ang palusutan dito. Ngayon, as Senior Vice President for Legal, yan ang mga very highfalutin na mga posisyon. Eh. Pwede na ba tayong pumunta sa, Mr. Chair, yung Cardinal Santos? Kasi siya rin eh.
Attorney Asuncion, yung to sa Cardinal Santos po, pag-uusapan din natin yan. Anyway, na-present na to ng Honorable Barbers at natanong natin yung mga question. Ang role natin ngayon, ayusin tong kasong to. Hindi pa ito tapos. Before we proceed, Honorable Marcoleta, I'd like to recognize the Honorable Congressman Ron Salo for his interjection. Congressman Salo? Congressman Salo?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Wala po akong interjection in this particular matter, Mr. Chair, but I have a different set of issues or concerns, if you would allow me, Mr. Chair.
Yes, before we proceed to Cardinal Santos, you may continue.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. Just give me 1 second. Mr. Chair, nandiyan po ba si Chairperson Bala?
Ay, naku po, Honorable Salo, in-excuse na po namin kanina tingkat ng kanilang kaso.
Okay, nonetheless, Mr. Chair, I'll just proceed dun sa kay Dr. Vargas. So, it appears, Mr. Chair, dun sa mga non-earth po natin, particularly nung nakaraang hearing, lumalabas po, Mr. Chair, lahat po ng klase ng mga claims na tinatawag po natin o kinukonsider po na fraudulent, lumalabas dito sa Philhealth. Mayroon po tayong 2 nails extraction, may mga circumcision, dialysis, pneumonia, pati cancer. So, mukhang samot-sari. I suppose ito lang po kasi rin yung nalalaman po natin, hindi naman po natin na uncover pa po ang lahat. Nonetheless, I'll just focus dun sa pneumonia. Tatanungin ko po si Dr. Vargas kung gaano po kahalaga po yung mga data na ginagamit po ninyo. In as much as you're the head of the policy ng Philhealth, gaano po kahalaga ang data para sa inyo?
Mahalaga po, Mr. Chair.
How?
Kasi po, yung mga ginagamit po natin, for an evidence-based policy po, ginagamit po natin ang data as source or reference.
So, kinukonsider ninyo na napakahalaga yung mga datos na napuproduce at mga ginagamit po ninyo sapagkat sabi nga po ninyo for to ensure na evidence-based yung mga policies na ina-adapt ninyo, kailangan po ninyo ng mga datos. Yung mga datos po ba na nakalagay po sa website po ng Philhealth, kayo po rin po bang binubusisin nyo rin po ba yon? Kayo rin po ba ang pinanggagalingan ng mga yon? Yung mga nakapost, for example, doon sa mga cases, top 10 cases for the past 10 since 2009 up to present. Yung mga datos na mga nakalagay po doon sa website ng Philhealth.
Ang mga
yung ginagamit po ninyo for policy?
Mr. Chair, ang mga datos po na nakalagay sa polisiya natin, sa website po natin, ay ang Corporate Planning Department po ang naglalagay, ang nag-clear. At yung pong mga datos naman natin, pagdating lalo-lalo na, dun po sa mga nakikita natin sa monitoring, especially po ng regions or yung data po on a national level na nakikita ng ating standards and monitoring, kung ito po ay nakikita natin na may bahid na fraudulent, ito po ay nire-refer natin sa ating legal department.
Clarification lang. Dahil nakalagay po yun sa mga website po ninyo ng Philhealth, ibig sabihin po, yun ay official data po yun, tama ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Tama. So official po yun. Yung sinabit po ninyo nung humingi po ako ng datos related sa pneumonia, alin official data rin po ba yun?
Mr. Chair, paki-clarify lang po.
May sinabit po kayo na data related sa tawag dito, pneumonia, nung humingi po ako. So may mga datos po kayo na binigay, historical data of paid pneumonia claims by level of healthcare facility. Official din po ba ito? In as much as I understand. I understand po na kayo nagsabit po nito at under oath po ito. So, official din po ito?
Ang nagsasubmit po ng data namin from the corporation na hinihingi ng ating kongreso ay ang amin pong Corporate Planning Department.
So, pareho rin po yung naglalagay ng datos po doon sa website po ninyo at yung nagsubmit din po sa kongreso?
Ang Corporate Planning Department pa rin po, Mr. Chair, nagsasubmit po.
Simple lang po yung tanong ko. Bilanggit mo nga po kanina, corporate planning po yung naglalagay doon sa website ng mga datos. And corporate planning din po yung nagsubmit na sinasabi mo. So, parehong grupo po ito.
Dapat po, Mr. Chair.
Dapat. Hindi, tanong ko lang, so pareho o hindi? Iba yung dapat doon sa pareho o hindi?
Kung ito po'y galing sa aming Corporate Planning Department, official po yan.
Official, parehong official. Then ito rin yung pinanggagaling at ginagamit po ninyo ng mga datos sa inyong pagtasa ng mga pulisiya sa Philhealth. Tama ba yon?
Ginagamit din po, Mr. Chair.
Tama. At sabi mo na napakahalaga ng datos. Pero kung papansinin po ninyo, i-explain ko po sa inyo, yung mga datos na binigay po ninyo sa amin ay magkaiba doon sa mga datos na nakalagay po sa website po ng Philhealth. Yung binabanggit nyo na mga top 10 po doon, ang laki po ng discrepancy. Ang based doon sa binigay po ninyo sa amin is 2014 hanggang 2020. Yung nakasulat po doon sa website po ninyo ay from 2009 to 2019. So ang kinumpara ko lang po yung 2014 to 2019. So ito yung parehong may datos. Based sa 2014, yung moderate risk, doon sa nakalagay sa website at doon sa binigay po ninyo, may discrepancy po siya na 1,367. Doon sa 2015, may discrepancy po na data na 50,869. So 2016, may discrepancy na 53,141. So 2017, may discrepancy na 48,018. 2018, 48,304. Ang 2019, 48,039 ang difference. So kung parehong opisyal na datos po ito, hindi ko alam kung alin ang tama. It's either parehong mali o isa lang ang tama.
Mr. Chair, if you would allow, pwede po nating si Dr. Bernadette Lico, the Senior Manager of the Corporate Planning, because one, sila po yung nagki-clear ng lahat ng data, sila din po yung nag-provide, and sila din po yung may access to the data. So kung pwede lang po para
Kasi ang point ko po rito, Dr. Vargas, kasi ipapasa niyo po ako kung kani-kanino. Simple lang po ang issue po rito eh. Kung mali po yung datos po ninyo, paano niyo sasabihin na nababantayan niyo yung pera ng Philhealth? Kasi lumalabas po dito na kinukumpute ko ang discrepancy. 2015, lalabas ang discrepancy 763 million dito sa claims 2016, 797 million. 2017, 720 million. 2018, 724 million difference. 2019, 722 million. Ang laki-laking pera na discrepancy. Ngayon, hindi natin alam kung alin yung tamang datos na pinanggagalingan po natin. Alin yung tamang datos na gagamitin. So, kung datos pa lang mali na, what would we expect na magiging tama doon sa computations po ninyo? Familiar po ba kayo doon sa, hindi ko lang alam kung naging familiar po kayo doon sa isang study, sometime 2015. Pinablish po ito sa Asia Journal, na lumalabas for proper perspective, no pneumonia diagnosed sa Pilipinas, lahat ng lumalabas sa hospital, on the average is 19.7%. So ibig sabihin almost 1 out of 5 na lumalabas sa hospital, ang diagnosis based sa Philhealth data ay pneumonia. Iko-compare po ninyo ito sa Malaysia, it's only 6.4%. And sa Indonesia, it's 1.5%. Samantalang itong mga bansang ito, mga katabi rin po natin ito. So hindi ko alam kung ano ba talaga yung basis po natin at nakikita ba ito ng Philhealth. In as much as klaro rin kung ano yung ibinigay po sa inyo na atang ng ating gobyerno, yung mandato na ibinigay po sa inyo. Titingnan po natin, number 1, consistently, ito yung pinoint out ko nakaraan, itong pneumonia claims. Napansin nyo ba na, at na-point out na rin ito ng mga kasama natin sa Kongreso, na hindi ito nagtutugma doon sa datos ng Department of Health at the same time datos din ng WHO. Doon sa top 10 pa lang na binabanggit na burden of disease sa Pilipinas, hindi naman po top 1 nitong pneumonia. Yes, number 3 po siya, pero number 1 po yung related sa heart disease, diseases of the heart. Pero masyadong mababa. It's just 1/3 lahat ng claims sa Philhealth, 1/3 lang yung kiniklaim related sa diseases of the heart. And yet, yun ang sinasabi na pinakamataas na burden of disease sa Pilipinas, sabi ng Department of Health, at the same time WHO. Pero pagdating po sa inyo, yun ang pinakamataas. And number 2, papansin po ninyo yung consistency ng number 1 na pneumonia across for several years. Consistent po, number 1 po siya. Samantalang yung top 2 to 10 na mga causes of claims sa inyo, nagbabago-bago taon-taon. How would you possibly explain that, Dr. Vargas?
Yun pong atin pong data are those being confined. However, yun pong I think yung binabanggit po ninyo with regards to the morbidities are not data of being confined. But of course, gaya po ng nabanggit din, sa pagkakaalam ko po ngayon ay una, ang pneumonia ay hindi na rin kasama doon sa mga notifiable diseases. And tama po naman kayo sa inyong nabanggit na sa ngayon po ay talagang nag-iiba na at nagsisimulang mag-iba na ang morbidity cases kung saan hindi na po infectious yung nangunguna but rather ang mga nangunguna are non-infectious or non-communicable diseases. Katulad nga po ng nabanggit ninyo na maaaring ito yung mga sakit sa puso. Para naman po doon sa ating
Hindi
pulmonya.
niyo po sinasagot po, Dr. Vargas, yung tanong ko po, how can you possibly explain na yung related dito sa study, diseases of the heart, yung number 1, consistent both the Department of Health at WHO sa Pilipinas. And yet, mapasin po ninyo, doon sa datos po ninyo, consistently number 1 yung sa pneumonia claims. And number 1 po siya, hindi nagbabago, hindi nadidislodge. Number 1 po siya, samantalang yung 2 to 10 na mga claims, nagbabago-bago po sila taon-taon ng kanilang posisyon.
Mr. Chair, pagdating po doon sa ating, yung pong nabanggit yung study, medyo hindi po ako familiar doon. Pagdating naman po doon sa ating number of cases, yung pong sa confinement natin, tama po kayo, through the years ay pulmonya nga po ang mga nauuna dito sa atin. Ito po ay para sa bata or para sa matatanda, pero tama po kayo na...
Ano ginagawa po ninyo? Hindi nyo ba hinihimay yung mga datos? For example, tatanungin ko po kayo, nagkaroon po ba ng pneumonia outbreak sa Mindanao sometime 2014 and 2015?
Mr. Chair, hindi po ako familiar.
Yes. Maaaring hindi kayo familiar, pero kung titinan po ninyo yung datos na binigay po ninyo sa amin, top 5 in 2014 and 2015, lahat po ng top 5 na nag-claim kung pneumonia, lahat po based sa Mindanao. So ang tanong ko, bakit top 5, lahat silang mga hospital doon, ang pare-pareho ang claims nila, silang nangunguna sa pag-claim ng pneumonia, ang tanong doon, may pneumonia outbreak ba doon?
Mr. Chair, again, hindi po ako familiar kung nagkaroon ng outbreak that time. And looking at it nga po, dahil nabanggit nyo na ito ay 2015, nung po mga panahon na yon ay hindi rin po ako tumitingin sa mga datos na ito because ako po ay wala doon sa sektor ng health finance policy. Pumasok lamang po ako doon sa health finance policy sector noon pong 2018 as an OIC.
So, ibig sabihin, sa panahon mo ngayon, hinihimay mo lahat ng mga datos?
Sir Chair?
So, ibig sabihin po ba ngayon, dahil ikaw na yun nandyan, nakaupo ngayon, nagbago na rin po ba yung pamamaraan ng paghimay ninyo ng datos sa Department, sa Philhealth?
Mr. Chair, sa ngayon po kasi, nagkaroon na po tayo ng mga tinatawag na health informatics data, yung pong HIDAC na tinatawag na kung saan may nagtitingin na po ng mga datos, especially ng mga patterns, na katulad po nung nabanggit ninyo sa Mindanao, meron na po ngayong mga nagtitingin na ganyan at may komite na nag-aanalisa. Meron na rin po...
May assurance ba kami ngayon, Dr. Vargas? Itong mga bagay na pinopoint out ko ngayon ay hinihimay ninyo? Anong assurance ng publiko ngayon na makikita na ba natin na magpagbabago ng mga at makihimay ninyo kung tama yung mga trends, tama yung mga claims na fina-file sa Philhealth? Sapagkat klaro rin naman po ang binibigay po sa inyo na atang ng Section 38 ng Republic Act 7875. Diba? It is an incumbent upon the corporation to set up a monitoring mechanism to ensure that this safeguards against overutilization of services, unnecessary diagnostic and therapeutic procedures and intervention, irrational medication and prescriptions, underutilization of services, and appropriate referral practices ay na-address. And take note, itong atang na ito sa Section 38, kasabay po ito ng pag-create ng Philhealth. Ngayon, sasabihin po natin na mayroon po tayo ngayon. Nagpapasalamat tayo. Finally, thank you. Pero kung ngayon lang po yan kinikreate, ang tanong po, hindi ba naging pabaya ang Philhealth for those longest times?
Mr. Chair,
Before you reply, Honorable Salo, your last question. Okay, kindly reply, Dr. Vargas.
May Sige, magko-close po ako sa isang tanong, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Salo, let Dr. Vargas reply first. Go ahead.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Chair, yan po talaga yung objective kung kaya't bakit po naglalagay ang ating korporasyon doon nga pong mga tinatawag nating committee or yung HIDAC committee na kung saan may mga report po doon para nakikita yung mga trends and patterns pagdating po dyan sa claims. At yun nga po ang talagang objektibo nito na kung makikita na merong mga irregular patterns ay doon po natin focus yung tinatawag na investigation at kung may mga fraudulent na pangyayari po dito ay magkakaroon ng sapat na legal na aksyon. Kung kaya't ang Philhealth din po ay katulad po dito sa pagdating sa pneumonia or yung ilan pa pong pagkakasakit katulad ng UTI, AGE na kung saan may mataas din ang claim numbers through the years ay ito po ay isinubject na natin doon sa prepayment review na kung saan bago po ito mabayadan, may medical prepayment review po na ginagawa ang ating mga doktor sa region na kung saan tinitingnan po kung ito ay naayon dun sa admissibility criteria. So, at again, kung ito po ay meron din po tayong current policy, yung healthcare provider assessment monitoring na at the regional level ay nagmo-monitor po ang ating mga regions at national level, yun pong ating departamento, yung standards and monitoring. Kung may nakikita po doon na meron pong alleged quality issue, then yan po ay inire-refer natin. At kung meron din pong nakikita na alleged legal issue or fraud, then inire-refer din po natin sa tamang departamento katulad po ng legal.
Honorable Salo?
Yes, panghuli pong tanong, Mr. Chair. Ganito, Dr. Vargas, lumalabas po paulit-ulit na sinasabi na kulang na yung pondo ng Philhealth, maubos na po in the next 1 or 2 years. Pero, in one of the committee hearings po sa Committe on Health, nagsabi po yung mga hospital associations na marami po sa kanila ay magsasara na, quote-unquote, for 2 reasons. One, ang sinasabi po nila, hindi sila nababayaran ng Philhealth. And number 2, ang claim po nila, kaunting-kaunti actually yung health-seeking behavior ng mga tao ng mga Pilipino ngayon ay bumaba. Kakaunti sa kanila ang pumupunta sa hospital unless related ito sa COVID. Kaya ang claim ng mga hospitals, kakaunti ang kailang kinikater ng mga pasyente. So if that's the case, ang tanong ko, nakikita ba ninyo ngayon based on this statement ng mga private hospitals na kakaunti ang pupunta sa kanila? Baka naman lalong tumas ngayon. Pero pagdating sa claim, ang tanong po doon magtutugma kaya yung sinasabi nila nakakaunti yung pupunta sa hospital unless related sa COVID? O pagdating sa claim naman ay napakarami pa rin? And number 2, binanggit niyo rin last time related doon sa COVID policy, na babaguhin niyo na rin po ito. Pinag-uusapan na ngayon. Ngayon, ang tanong doon, pag binago po ninyo, anong case rate ang gagamitin? Ibig sabihin po ba, kapag yung mga dati na measure, na check, na isinabmit based doon sa original guidelines po ninyo na may suspect, may probable, ngayon kapag binago po ninyo, anong mag-a-apply sa kanila na case rate once this particular COVID policy is amended?
Thank you, Honorable Salo, Honorable Vargas. Maraming salamat po. We now proceed to the case of the hospitals. Alam nyo, nung huli, we invited the Archdiocese of Manila para mag-shed light dito sa issue ng Cardinal Santos. But before we proceed to the main issue, Attorney Pucalan, ano ang mga biggest settlement sa Philhealth na inyong ginawa? Biggest settlement?
Sir, ano po yung papel ng?
Ano ang biggest settlement ng mga cases sa Philhealth? Ito, this is 240 million, di ba? Ang binayaran dito ay 70 million. Yung kaso ng Metrobank, although ito naman ay 114 million, ang binayaran dito is 105, if I'm not mistaken. So, hindi ito malaki. Dun sa, 108 ang settlement. Anong biggest settlement ng mga kaso ninyo?
Sir, based on my personal knowledge lang, sir, no? I think this Accenture is the biggest.
Bakit biggest, lalugi lang kayo dyan ng mga 5 million. Parang ganun lang ata. Cardinal Santos is 240 million. Tapos ang binayaran 70 million. You know, if you give me 2 minutes na, iisa-isa ko sa iyo yan. But kala ko naman, alam na ninyo nitong... Attorney Asuncion, would you like to reply?
Thank you.
Okay, Attorney Asuncion was the SBP legal from 2013 to 2016. Is that correct?
No, Your Honor. I was the SPP legal from December of 2011.
2011
Your Honor.
hanggang ano
Up
po?
to 2016.
Okay po.
When the new government took over, Your Honor.
Okay po, Attorney Asuncion. Ano po yung mga biggest na mga settlement dyan?
No, Your Honor, I just wanted to state that the HMI, the Cardinal Santos, Your Honor,
No,
case.
no, Attorney Asuncion, before we do that, before we go into the details of the cases, ano po yung mga biggest settlement? Because we have here the submission of the legal.
Mr. Chair,
I agree with the...
request lang Mr. Chair, pwede bang palipatin mo siya rito dito sa may harap natin? Wala namang
Attorney
nakaupo
Asuncion, if we can request you to...
Wala
kasi
namang nakaupo
Hindi
dito.
kayo nakikita ng mga ibang kasama dito po sa gitna. Baka pwedeng ano. Session suspended 1 minute. I-resume. Okay, Attorney Asuncion, if we may ask you, kung pwede po namin may tanong sa inyo, ano po yung mga biggest settlement ng cases dyan sa atin sa Philhealth? Either compromise, either nagkaroon ng agreement, arbitration within the Philhealth cases or within the yung mga healthcare institutions and other stakeholders.
Well, as far as I know, Your Honor, I agree with Attorney Pucalan that the Accenture was, to my recollection, the biggest, Your Honor. Because
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Honorable Marcoleta.
tama naman siya, Mr. Chair. Ang tanong, anong pinakamalaking hindi na-settle? Kasi yung na-settle, 103 nga naman yung sa Accenture. Itong Cardinal, 170 ang hindi na-settle kasi pumayag lang sila sa 70. 240 dapat eh.
Tama, pero pag minat mo yan, Honorable Marcoleta, 240 minus 70, mas malaki ang Cardinal, kaya hindi Accenture.
Kaya nga, yung Cardinal nga, ang malaki, yung hindi natin, yung kanilang hindi sinetel. Kasi
Okay. Pasimplihan ko
ang
yung tanong
balance
ha.
eh.
Pasimplihan ko yung tanong ha. Ano yung mga malalaki na lang na settlement? Whether kung magkano yan, kung ano yung mga kaso na yan.
Your Honor, please, Mr. Speaker, I still maintain my answer previously.
Hindi naka ano yung...
I maintain my answer previously. I agree with Mr. Pucalan because the Cardinal Santos case was not a settlement. It was
So,
a
let's go
case.
beyond that. Let's go beyond that. Accenture, ano pa ho? Cardinal Santos was a case. Okay? So, ayun yung i-admit na settlement. Ano pa ho?
Ang alam ko ho, wala na akong maalala na sinettle. Meron lang yung mga siguro...
Na-penalize. Na-penalize po. na penalize ninyo?
I can't recall that, Your Honor.
Okay, Quezon City Eye Institute.
Your Honor,
Quezon City Eye Institute, tama ba?
I can't recall.
There's a case file, Pacific Eye, kasama po yan. Attorney Pukalan, you may interject.
If they know.
Sir, I cannot recall on any settlement involving Pacific Eye and Quezon City Eye Center. Yes sir, the cataract cases. Wala po akong maalalang may settlement, sir.
Okay, wala akong sinasabing settlement. Ang sinasabi ko, whether penalize ninyo, yung mga pinakamalaking violation, and I have all the list here that you have here. Why can't you name me all those things? And I can even name the year because nakalagay naman po dito.
Sir, is it okay if I refer you to Attorney Villegas?
Attorney Villegas, kahit sino, wala namang problema.
Sir, wala po kaming sinesettle na case regarding...
Okay, sino yung may mga kaso kayo?
Ang mga may kaso po sa amin, marami po. Quezon City ay po...
Magkano? Anyway, sige, hindi naman ko, Quezon City Eye. O sino pa?
Mr. Chairman, yung Quezon City ay magkano yung amount ng case? Ano yung nature ng case?
Filing of multiple claims po, misrepresentation, other fraudulent acts. Ito po yung hakot system na sinasabi.
This is Dr. Evangelista, di ba?
Owned by Dr. Evangelista.
Dr.
Yes, sir.
Evangelista. So what year was the case? What year did the facts happen? Kailan nangyari yung kasong yan?
Meron pong cases kami ng as early as 2004. May cases po as early as 2012, 2013, 2015, 2016, 2018 po, 2017, 2019 docketed cases po sa amin. Hanggang ngayon po, meron pa rin pong 2020 docketed cases po ang Quezon City Eye.
Ang tanong ko, is Quezon City Eye still accredited by Philhealth?
No sir. Nagsarado na po ang Quezon City Eye.
So kailan siya nagsarado? Prior to the cases?
In 2017 po yan.
Magkano yung involved sa kaso? At Banyero, magkano yung involved? Magkano yung sinisingil ni Evangelista o ng Quezon City Eye?
Yung pong pending case sa amin, mabot po siya ng 2,000 cases. Ang amount po is more or less nasa 20 million po. Ang involved na claims.
Ito yung cataract, di ba? Ito yung cataract cases. So, pero marami nang nasingil si Evangelista sa Philhealth. Marami na siyang nakuhang pera. Itong Quezon City Eye.
Marami po silang claims na na-file sa Philhealth. Pero ito lang po yung nagkaroon ng case sa arbitration office.
Pero yung nabayaran ng Philhealth sa Quezon City Eye, magkano na?
I don't have the data, sir.
Okay, Honorable Rimulya, para lang malinawagan yung ating mga kasama sa PhilHealth, Eastern Sun Medical and Diagnostic Center, Dr. Manuel Rebueno Memorial Hospital, WellMed is an ongoing case. Paulino Hospital, ito yung mga pinakamalaki nilang kaso since 2013.
Yes, sir. Sila po yung top 5 na may case sa PhilHealth, sa arbitration office. In terms of claims po siya na may case sa amin.
And all fraudulent.
Yes po, mga fraudulent cases po siya.
Okay, so ito yung mga iba. So anyway, nabanggit na rin yung, binanggit yung Accenture, binanggit ninyo yung Cardinal Santos, sabi ni Attorney Asuncion, hindi daw po yun kaso. But we will give him a chance to explain the case. Honorable Barsaga.
Well, actually, during the last hearing, nag-request ako ng status ng mga kasong kriminal na ipinail ng PhilHealth. At base sa submission na binigay sa akin, practically all the cases involving falsification by private individuals and use of falsified documents, Article 315 of the Revised Penal Code, lahat ng kaso sa prosecution office pa lamang, sa fiscal's office, lahat ay dismissed na. Is this true, Attorney?
Attorney Villegas.
With due respect, sir, it's not within the arbitration office po yung
No.
case. It is the office of the Senior Vice President for Legal po ang nag-handle ng criminal cases. Ang arbitration office po ang nag-handle ng administrative cases of hospitals and doctors po pertaining to the claims in Philhealth po.
Okay, ang follow-up ko lamang, yung mga criminal cases. Pag titingnan ko rito, the complaint was dismissed by the handling prosecutor and a motion for reconsideration was filed by the complainant. Motion for reconsideration was denied, etc. Halos dismiss lahat. O sino sasagot dito? Bakit na-dismiss pa lamang sa prosecution?
Mr. Chairman, can we ask sino abogado ng Philhealth? Who represents Philhealth in public cases? OGCC ba?
The
Go ahead.
document was signed by Lauris Cabus and Rogelio Pongkalan, Senior Manager,
Attorney Pongkalan is here.
ILD. Oh,
Attorney Pongkalan, please reply.
Attorney Pongkalan, totoo ba itong sinabit mong dokumento na puro dismiss ang criminal cases natin? Ang dismissal sa prosecutor's office pa lamang?
Sir, of the, I think, 11 criminal cases filed by Philhealth, only 4 was handled by my office, and the other complaints were handled by other
Hindi na
lawyers.
natin pinag-uusapan kung ikaw ang nag-handle o hindi. Nag-submit ka rito sa amin ng report, 31 criminal cases, inisa-isa ko, dismiss lahat sa prosecutor's office, sa piskalya pa lamang. At ang kaso ay puro falsification by private individuals and use of falsified documents. Eh sa aming abogado, pag falsification, all we have to do is to present the falsified document.
At sa kaso po ng
prosecutor's office pa lamang.
At sa kaso po ng Philhealth, yan ang importante pagka pineke ang tao at dinaya. Dahil dyan tayo nagkakaproblema. Attorney Pongkalan, kindly
Sir,
reply.
I think there are 2 complaints which are still pending pa, sir. Hindi pa po resolved yung...
Hindi pa na-dismiss.
Hindi pa
out
po,
of the
sir,
31
na
cases.
resolve po ng trial
Kaya
court. Kaya po, sir, nag-proceed sa trial
Okay.
court.
Ang nililinaw lang natin, dito sa report mong 31 cases, 2 lamang ang still pending. Yung 29 na kasong for falsification sa fiscal's office pa lamang or prosecutor's office, dismissed na. Yes.
But again, sir,
Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Tama po.
And most of these cases are cases for falsification. Violation of Article 172,
Yes, sir.
falsification by private individuals, and use of falsified documents. Bakit sa piskalya dismiss na kaagad? How
Sir,
can you protect our money, the money of the public? Eh kung sa mga kasong ganito, piskalya pa lamang, dismiss na.
actually, sir, that's why we requested the GCG for additional lawyer positions po. Kasi as of now, isa lang po talaga ang humahawak ng aming mga criminal complaints, PRC complaints. Siya na rin po yung humahawak nun, including na special cases po for against Philhealth.
Ilan ang abogado ng Philhealth? Sa legal office, ilan kayo?
Sir, sa ngayon po, isa lang po talaga yung, dalawa sir sa office ko, pero yung isa po, ang nag-handle nga ng mga litigation like criminal, cases, special cases against Philhealth, while the other po na lawyer, siya po yung nag-handle ng legal opinion, contracts review.
150 billion a year 200 billion a year corporation only has 2 lawyers?
In my department po, sir, talagang dalawa lang. That's why we requested po sa GG ng additional plantilla position for lawyers. Unfortunately, na-deny po yung request namin.
Okay, with the indulgence of everyone, we will proceed to the issue at hand. Attorney Asuncion, yung ating pong Cardinal Santos, we were discussing it. Sige po, kaya please present the position of the actions you took, taken by the executive at the time of Philhealth at yung approval ng board. Kindly proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors. I'm Attorney Edgar Asuncion. Firstly, please accept my apologies for my absence during the last hearing. primarily because I didn't receive any invitation nor subpoena from the honorable committees. I was appointed as SBP for legal sometime in December, actually on December 5, 2011. Now, the case, Your Honor, Hospital Managers Inc. or HMI versus Roman Catholic Archbishop Manila and Philhealth Insurance Corporation, civil case number 73012 RTC Pasig City, branch 160, was filed sometime in the middle of 2012. I was then a newly appointed SBP, Your Honor. Now on April 11, just a presentation of the civil case, Your Honor, the Board of Commissioners, composed of Attorney Dean Voltaire Bautista for PhilHealth, Attorney Ricardo Cachola Jr. for HMI, and Branch Clerk of Court Attorney Julius S. De Peralta of RTC Branch 160 Pasig City, issued its Commissioner's Report. Its dispositive portion reads, wherefore premises considered, the Board of Commissioners submits the following findings and recommendations. That PhilHealth's demand of 240 million is inaccurate and lacks sufficient basis. 2. That PhilHealth erred in its assumption that HMI uniformly credited all PhilHealth members with 5,000. 3. That the 59,991,887.60 man cannot be used as a basis for the 240,045,076.6 demand as it resulted from an incomplete accounting. And number 4, that the final accounting, the total unclaimed refund is 70,058,129.17. Number 5, that the amount of 431,560.07 will be settled out of court by PhilHealth and HMI after verification of their own respective records and files. Number 6, that since plaintiff HMI has already deposited in escrow the amount of 56,775,949 with Banco de Oro, said amount shall be released in favor of plaintiff. And number 7, the HMI is obligated to turn over to PhilHealth the balance of 13,300,180.17. Number 8, the accounting of claims of HMI against PhilHealth representing unpaid claims equivalent to 17,385,655.47 has been dispensed with for non-exhaustion of administrative remedies. Thereafter, Your Honor, the Board of Commissioners again issued a supplemental report. The dispositive portion of it reads, in view of the foregoing, the Board of Commissioners concludes that the 188 claims subject of the motion with manifestation have all been accounted for, and the resultant total unclaimed refund is still 70,058,129.17. With this, the Board therefore reiterates its finding and recommendation as contained in April 11, 2013 Commissioner's Report. Subsequently, on 4 September 2014, the Regional Trial Court, Pasig City, Branch 160 issued an omnibus order, the dispositive portion of which reads, I quote, wherefore, the motion for another extension of time to file comment is denied for lack of merit. The Commissioner's report filed on 29 July 2013 are hereby adopted. On the basis thereof, the Court hereby draws the following conclusions and accordingly so orders to it. 1. The plaintiff's demand of 240,045,076.60 from plaintiff is inaccurate and lacks sufficient basis, being premised on the assumption that the latter uniformly credited all PHIC members patients with 5,000 each. The amount of 431, number 2, that the amount of 431,516 will be settled out of court by Philhealth and HMI after verification of their own respective records and files. Number 3, the accounting of claims of HMI against Philhealth representing unpaid claims equivalent to 17,385,655.47 has been dispensed with for non-exhaustion of administrative remedies. And number 4, the issue involving 188 entries of claim amounting to 1,487,137.73 subject of the motion and manifestation have been accounted for, and the resultant unclaimed refunds in favor of PHIC stands at 70,058,129.17. And number 5, that since plaintiff HMI said amount is hereby ordered released in favor of plaintiff, that HMI is obligated to turn over to Philhealth the ballot before the RTC. We filed a notice of appeal. And then, by its letter of 20 settlement, the compromise agreement that is
involved with Cardinal Santos Memorial Hospital managed by HMI.
Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, it was HMI who filed the case against.
So HMI filed the case for?
HMI at the time was the, I think, operator of Cardinal Santos, Your Honor.
So what did they file? What case did HMI file?
They filed for an accounting, Your Honor, because the previous request for reconciliation of the pertinent details of these unclaimed refunds didn't materialize. So what HMI did was to go to court to force.
So wait. Attorney Asuncion, Philhealth had a claim for 240 million against HMI Cardinal Santos. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the basis for this claim of Philhealth? Would you know that, Mr. Dimshaco?
Come again, Your Honor.
Yung laban nyo, yung away sa Cardinal Santos, ang kiniklaim, ang hinihingi na Philhealth na bayad, na ibalik na pera sa Philhealth ay 240 million pesos. Alam nyo ba to? Alam ba na opisina nyo to?
Mr. Chair,
Your Honor.
a particular point was already established yesterday. Two gentlemen from Philhealth validated that the 240 million demand by Philhealth stood on a very firm ground. Kasi ito yung under deduction which Philhealth notice sa Cardinal Santos.
Honorable Marcoleta, mabilis lang po. Kindly reply to Honorable Remulla. What was the question again, Honorable Remulla?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, the date of the transaction of the official receipt is 2014. Wala pa ako nito sa central office, Your Honor. What I mean, hindi pa ako SPP during the time, Your Honor. But the record speaks, Your Honor, that mayroon na received na money coming from the Hospital Managers Incorporated. Tatlong official receipt, for Your Honor, totaling the amount of 70.489.
Okay, yan yung bayad na nila.
Your Honor.
Yan ang bayad nila.
Honorable Marcoleta?
Marcoleta, but you might want to enlighten us again to refresh our memory on the basis for the 240 million claim of Philhealth against HMI.
Mr. Chair, that was validated yesterday. I think a certain Attorney Balye and Attorney Pocalian, you already validated that this 240 million is a true and demandable amount from HMI. You testified yesterday, didn't you? Attorney Pocalian, you were here, and Attorney Balye, you were here yesterday. Nung tinatanong ko, meron bang valid ng basis ito? Ang sagot ninyo, oo. Ito ay mula sa unclaimed refunds from about 48,000 members or patients ng Cardinal Santos from the period of January 1999 to 2008 or a period of 9 years. Merong under deduction na nakita ninyo, mukhang 3,000 pesos per patient ang nakakaltas pero hindi na ibibigay. So because of your Philhealth Circular number 15, 2007, and Circular 01, 2008, sinulatan ninyo ang HMI, which was then the one managing Cardinal Santos. Dalawa ang sulat ninyo, Attorney Asuncion, galing sa Philhealth, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, January 2010. And then again, meron kayo sumunod na letter of demand, June 2010. Doon sa first letter ninyo, binigyan nyo ng 15 days ang HMI within which to pay 240 million pesos. After 15 days, wala namang nangyari, sinulatan nyo uli, June 2010. Correct me if I am wrong. Ito yung nasa dokumento. Pagkatapos, ng pangalawang sulat ninyo, you already threatened HMI that you will fail a legal action upon their failure to refund these claims. Bakit hinayaan pa ninyo na noong June 14, 2011 or 1 year after your second letter, hinayaan pa ninyo na ang HMI ang magdemanda sa Philhealth? Why?
Well, Your Honor, as far as Philhealth was concerned at that time,
Pakilakas po ninyo.
Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, there was the possibility of reconciling the records or data.
Ang tanong ko sa iyo, napakasimple lang eh. Sinulatan mo siya ng 2 beses. Okay? Sabi mo 15 days. Ang Philhealth, ang ibig ko sabihin, hindi siya nagbayad, sinundan ng pangalawang sulat 6 months later, kasi June 2010 eh. Kapag hindi ka pa nagbayad, sabi ninyo, didemanda na namin kayo. Hindi nagbayad. Ang tanong ko sa iyo, naghintay pa kayo ng 1 taon para ang magdemanda naman sa inyo ay HMI seeking judicial accounting. Yun ang sinasabi mo eh.
May I add, Congressman Marcoleta, yung sinasabi mong sulat na nagdedemand sila, ang pumirma nun, head ng legal department nila, at saka senior vice president Canaveral. So, nanggaling na sa legal. Mismo yung sulat nila.
Maski sa legal kahit kanino, pero Philhealth, Mr. Chair. Ang tinatanong ko sa kanya, bakit naman kailangan hintayin pa ninyo ang 1 taon? 240 million pesos ito, Attorney Asuncion. Wala ba kayong pakialam na ito ay makolekta nyo kaagad? These are unclaimed refunds based on your own circular.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bakit? Kasi ang nakikita namin, may kakutsabahan dito eh. Kailangan ang magdemanda pa ng judicial accounting ay yung kabila. Hindi ba? Ang kinukwento mo kanina, kaya nagkaroon ng Board of Commissioner, ang chairman ng commission ay yung clerk of court ng Pasig, pagkatapos isa sa inyo, isa sa HMI.
Yes, sir.
Pagkatapos, ayun, bigla na lang nangyari, ang sabi ng compromise agreement, walang basis, inaccurate ang inyong pagtaya ng 250 million. Can you imagine that, Attorney Asus? Ibig mo sabihin, yung 240 million na dinemand ninyo nanggaling lang sa wala. 2 gentlemen ang nagsabi rito kahapon. It was based on an initial joint accounting and reconciliation between HMI and Philhealth. Meron kayong random sampling nun eh. Papunta na kayo doon sa pag-determine ng pattern, mukhang makukuha na at may establish ang 240 million, okay, biglang bumitaw ang HMI. Yun ang sinasabi mo. There was an initial joint accounting and reconciliation. Nung napuprove na, Mr. Chair, malamang na, biglang bumitaw. Nang nangyari, tsaka siya nagdemanda, judicial accounting. Okay. Attorney Asuncion. Ayaw mong sabihin na settlement. What word will you substitute with that? Compromise?
No, Your Honor, it was based on a judgment, Your Honor.
Ito nga eh. Tapos based on a judgment, dahil hinintay mo na siya ang mag-file. Pero doon sa judgment ba, where did the court determine to the last centavo kung kanino napunta yung last claim? You remember, 170 million ang nawala na kinukolekta ninyo.
Honorable Marcoleta.
No, the question, Mr. Chair, dun ba sa compromise order na yun ng court na determine ninyo to the last centavo na ito'y naibigay sa pasyente? Meron bang determination na gano'n, Attorney Asuncion?
Well, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
No, sagutin mo lang, was
Yes.
there a determination? Kasi ang hinahanap natin.
Since the judicial accounting was made before the court, I presume, Your Honor, it was done.
So that is your presumption. Kaya nga nagpunta kayo sa korte. Kaya ang hinahanapan ko sa court, did you review the records of the court? And from there, did you personally determine and ascertain the validity of that accounting na talagang napunta to the last person? Yung 170 million, was there a record? Was there an accounting?
Your Honor, it was the case was handled by our lawyer, that then head our prosecution department. So I presume, Your Honor, he did everything as a competent lawyer, Your Honor.
You are the executive. You are the senior vice president.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why? You're supposed to be bound by the findings of the court. Can you not question that? Can you not raise it to the other court, to the higher court, kung sakasakali?
It was a judicial accounting by the Board of Commissioners, Your Honor. So,
Alam natin yun eh. Alam natin yun. Wag mo kong palulusutin doon. Ang sinasabi ko, idinaan nyo sa korte, okay? Kunwari, para lamang may managot to sa 170 million. Ang tinatanong ko sa iyo ngayon, was there a court determination na talagang yung 170 million ay tinanggap ng mga pasyente? Yung natitira na yun, yung hindi na ibalik sa inyo, kasi ang binalik lang sa inyo, 70.
Your Honor, if with all due respect, Your Honor, I'll put it this way: we presented our evidence before the court. They presented their evidence before the court, and the court just appreciated the evidence presented, and the court came up with 70 million unpaid.
You are saying that the data and statistics of HMI is more superior than your data? Na-establish ba ng HMI na mas magaling sila sa inyo sa pamamagitan ng data?
Well, from my experience with the court, Your Honor.
Forget about your experience.
Yes, Your Honor. Because I was not the one. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Tinatanong kita kanina eh. Kasi importante sa amin ito. Okay, meron judicial accounting.
Yes, sir.
Lumitaw ba doon hanggang sa kadulu-duluhan na 5 na pinpoint natin na yun ay pumunta talaga sa pasyente ng Philhealth? Meron bang ganong determination?
Well, I really don't know the details, Your
Ito
Honor.
nga yung problema kasi you are no longer interested in the detail. What you are interested in, makakuha ng isang judicial compromise.
There is a yes, Your
Doon
Honor.
kayo magtatago eh. Alam mo kung bakit?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will ask you. Yung isa sa ipinresent na financial statement ng HMI sa Securities and Exchange Commission, 2009, meron siyang ina-admit na liability sa mga pasyente niya, 143 million. Ito yung hindi pa niya naibibigay. In 2010, merong admission ng HMI to the extent of 117 million na utang niya sa mga pasyente. Alam ninyo, totoo ito eh. Sarili nilang statement ito eh. Pero pumayag pa rin kayo sa 70 million. Hindi mo man lang ginamit itong statement na to, which is an admission in court by HMI. Silang nagdamin nito, Attorney Asuncion. Pero
yan lang siguro.
sa mga pasyente na dapat i-refund, 143 million sa isang year, 117 million doon sa kabilang year. Pagkatapos pumayag kayo na 17 million na lamang ang ibabalik sa inyo simply because the court ordered you to do so. Napakasimple na mga ano yun. Anong ginagawa ninyo? Napakarami ninyong abogado dyan. You are the senior vice president. Alam mo kung bakit nag-aatubili ka na baka sakaling mali ito? Kung talagang naniniwala ka, Atty. Asuncion, na tama yung court. Kunwari, sa palagay mo, tama na yung court. Bakit ka humingi ng opinion sa OGCC?
The request for an opinion,
Ilakas mo ng konti.
the request for opinions from OGCC.
Why? Why did you ask for an opinion from the OGCC?
Your Honor, because the management and the board wanted the proposed amicable settlement to be reviewed by OGCC, Your Honor.
Ang tanong ko nga, why did you have to ask for the opinion of the OGCC kung talagang sa puso ninyo, alam ninyo na tama nga yung kwenta ng korte?
Because they were the ones who were handling the case already, Your Honor. And
Ano?
they are our statutory lawyers.
Sino?
OGCC, Your Honor.
Oh, what is the opinion that you get from the OGCC? What?
That the proposed compromise agreement together with the amendments that the Philhealth board wanted to incorporate
Kakabulol-bulol ka na
were
naman.
reasonable.
Ang
No, Your Honor,
tinatanong ko sa iyo,
reasonable.
when you sought the decision
And,
from the OGCC,
Yes.
ano ang binigay niyang opinion? Alam mo?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the opinion extended to you? Kasi sumulat ka sa kanya eh.
Yeah, the opinion of the OGCC was the terms and conditions of the draft compromise agreement aptly protects the interest of Philhealth. That was the opinion given, Your Honor.
Pakiulit mo, medyo maganda yung pagkakasabi mo.
Okay.
Sabihin mong mabuti.
The opinion that was given by OGCC was that the compromise agreement that was presented to them for their review aptly protected the interest of Philhealth, Your Honor.
So, ang malaga, it actually protected the interest of PhilHealth. Bago niya sinabi yun, ito yung sinabi niya eh. On the premise that the PHIC, ito yung PhilHealth, on the premise that the PhilHealth has verified the contents accuracy, it may be given due course. Decision ba yun? Opinion ba yun? Ibinalik niya sa iyo eh. Naghugas siya ng kamay. Ang sabi niya, on the premise that PhilHealth verified the contents accuracy. What is the contents accuracy? Ano siya sabi niya?
The OGCC was referring to our final report, Your Honor.
Okay. Binalik niya lang sa iyo eh. Wala siyang ginawang opinion kung legal o hindi. Binalik niya lang sa iyo. Sabi niya, kung inaakala mo na okay na to, pwede na. Yun ang desisyon niya eh. Tama? Does that protect the interest of
Your
PhilHealth?
Honor, if I may, Your Honor,
And then, tinatanong, does that kind of legal opinion
yes, Your Honor.
protect the
Yes, Your
interest?
Honor, because they signed also the
No.
compromise
Sa
agreement.
inyo niya binalik eh. On condition, on the premise kanya that you verified the content. Kayo rin eh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hindi kayo nag-verify. Ang sinabi niyo lang, it was simply the compromise. Ito yung sinabi ng korte. Ganun lang kasimple. So you are now comfortable because it passed upon the court, okay? And the OGCC provided the nihil obstat and the imprimatur, okay na. But, pera ng taong bayan ito, attorney. Pera ng taong bayan. Kaya nga tinatanong kita kanina sa content and accuracy na sinasabi mo eh. Importante na mapalitaw natin hanggang sa kahuli-huling sentimo at piso ng 170 million kung talagang naibigay nga sa pasyente. Because that is very important. Bigla na lamang kayong pumayag ng ganun-ganun na lang. Bakit? Ganun na ba kagaling yung korte na yun, RTC?
I think there was no, Your Honor, there was no claim on HMI that they have already given the balance to the members.
O yun na nga eh. So what? Nasaan ngayon? Hindi mo hahanapin?
What I'm saying, Your Honor, is that the 240 was found by the court to be inaccurate.
O di kayo,
So
di puro...
that's the reason why.
O, paano ngayon? Ano ngayon ang mukha ninyo? The court found it inaccurate, Mr. Chair. Ano ngayon? Puro kayo mga executive, senior vice president?
No, Attorney Asuncion, I'd like to follow up dun sa point ni Honorable Marcoleta.
Yes, Your Honor.
HMI mismo nag-admit meron silang problema sa mga pasyente nila. Yun ang nire-raise niya sa SCC. Sila mismo, sa papeles nila, sinasabi nila, meron silang 117 million, Honorable Marcoleta.
Sinabi ko na sa kanya, Mr. Chair.
143. So,
Sila mismo inamin nila, Mr. Chair. Kaya nga kinukompront ko siya dun eh. Kahit na doon sa 143 million na lang siguro because they themselves admitted na may pananagutan sila sa pasyente to the extent of 143 million.
yes.
Pero pumayag ka sa 70 million. Nasaan? Nasaan ang pagpoprotection nyo sa tao, sa pera ng tao? Ito yung problema. You were the senior vice president.
Yes, Your Honor.
What?
The handling lawyer,
Huwag
Your
kang
Honor,
mamingiti,
was
attorney.
the handling
Pakingiti-ngiti
lawyer,
ka
Your
naman
Honor.
eh.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Is there something funny here?
Your Honor, the way I look at it,
It's not the way you look at it.
yes, Your Honor, that
You do not have the right to render an opinion here. Tinatanong ka lang. This is a factual issue, attorney. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ang tinatanong natin, ganun ba kayo kabilis na sumurrender? Unang-una, napatunayan namin kahapon doon sa dalawang sumagot dito that you had a valid basis for claiming 240,000. Because PMI o HMI and Philhealth nagkaroon ng joint reconciliation and accounting. Tinuloy-tuloy yun. Nung malapit na sa gitna na nai-establish na yung 240 million, bumitaw ang HMI for no reason at all. And then afterwards, siya ngayon ang nag-file ng judicial accounting. Ganun naman kayo, kapresko lang. Ganun lang. Ganun lang ang ginawa ninyo. So nasaan ngayon ang protective ability ninyo na sinupin, alagaan, proteksyonan ang pondo ng PhilHealth? Isinurrender ninyo ang 170 million so easily dahil pinadaan mo sa korte. Pero ang korte walang record na may bibigay sa kongresong ito for our consolation na yung kadulu-duluhan na 5 centimos na yun o pisong natitira ay ibinalik o na-benefit ang pasyente. Walang record na ganun, Mr. Chair. Attorney Asuncion, hindi ba ikaw din ang Executive Vice President nung suspendihin yung perpetual succor?
no, Your Honor. When was
Hindi ba ikaw? Nasa record eh.
suspended, Your Honor?
Honorable Marcoleta, before we proceed to that issue,
Hindi, tinatanong ko lang muna.
sige. Iklaro lang natin, dito po sa Board of Commissioners, sino po nag-represent sa PhilHealth?
Attorney Bautista, Your Honor.
Nandiyan pa siya sa PhilHealth ngayon, Mr. Chair.
Where is
Nasaan
Attorney
si Dean
Bautista?
Bautista?
Attorney Bautista,
Where is Attorney Bautista, Dr. Vargas? Attorney Bukalan? Who represented HMI?
it was, the lawyer then was Attorney Darwin De Leon, and the commissioner that was appointed by the President was Attorney Voltaire Bautista.
Okay. Simple lang po tanong, Attorney Asuncion, babalik lang po ako dun ha. Sinabi na ulit ni Congressman Marcoleta, binanggit na rin po to. Bakit po nandito sa papel nila na may utang talaga sila sa pasyente, hindi lumabas? I don't think there's not enough evidence yung binanggit nyo po. Dahil mismong sa ebidensya ng HMI, klaro.
Hindi lamang yun, Mr. Chair. Siyam na taon na sa hawak ng HMI ang perang sinisingil nyo. Paano yung interest? Paano yung halimbawa in-invest ni Congressman Barbers? 240 million. 9 years. Hindi ba kikita rin sa bangko yung pera na yun, Attorney Asuncion? I suppose you know. Halimbawa, kami dalawa ni Cong Boying, pinagkatiwala sa amin 240 million pesos. Nilagay namin sa bangko. Kikita ba yun, Attorney Asuncion, o hindi? Simpleng bond. Halimbawa, treasury bonds. Kikita, di ba? O pinautang namin kay Attorney Kabatbat. May interest siya siguro ibibigay sa akin. Pero kinompromise mo ng 70 million, yung interest na kikitain ng pera o yung investment potential nun, kinalimutan ninyo o hindi? Ito, Mr. Chair, maliwanag ito eh.
Attorney Asuncion, ang nakakagulat kasi, sa mismong dokumento ng HMI, sinasabi nila may utang sila. Pero dito sa presentasyon mo, sinasabi mo na hindi accurate ang data natin. And that is what is, I think, yun ang nakakagalit kay Congressman Marcoleta na yun ang kalaban ninyo, sinabi may kasalanan. Kahapon, nung tinanong kayo, yung mga abogado rito, ang sinabi ninyo, malakas at matindi ang ebidensya natin. Pero ngayon sinasabi mo, natalo tayo, malinaw ho Attorney Asuncion.
Well, Your Honor, that's what I've been saying all the while, Your Honor, that our lawyers presented all the pieces of evidence with the court. And what was established only during the judicial accounting was only 70, Your Honor.
The Attorney Asuncion, ang sinasabi kasi ni Attorney Marcoleta,
sorry, Your Honor.
Binanggit mo na yan Ang sinasabi ni Attorney Marcoleta, ngayon nga, wala tayo sa arbitration Papakita namin sa iyo yung SEC papers, galing pa nga ito sa Philhealth. Well, ngayon,
yes.
Inaamin ang kalaban ninyo. Ang sinasabi ni Congressman Marcoleta, inayos. Para maganda ang exit, padaanin sa arbitration, ayusin ang bayaran, magkaroon ng approval ng korte, at magkaroon ng approval ng OGCC. Sa madaling salita, yun po ang tinutumbok na
halatang-halata naman, Mr. Chair, pinadaan nga sa korte. Ayun. O palagay na natin puro kayo incompetence. O di, paano yung sa SEC? Hindi nyo nakita yung 140 million na inadmit nila? Maski siguro yung 140 million na lang, ginawang basis na lang ninyo. Baka sakaling pumayag na si Chairman Mike. Hindi. Walang basis yung yung 70 million. Ito, binabasa mo ang sabi mo dun sa opinion ng OGCC. Alam mo yung sinabi ng OGCC? We find the terms of the compromise reasonable and amply protective of the PCHI's interest as HMI has practically heeded all the PHIS demands. Hindi totoo ito Anong practically heeded all the demands of PCHI? Ang demand ninyo is 240 million. Itong opinion na ito, kalukuhan lang Nag-aatubili kayo, kaya kumuha kayo ng opinion. O siyempre nga naman Mr. Chair, dumaan sa korte. Pinasadahan na ngayon, pinlansya. Pagkatapos ngayon, dumating ang OGCC. Nagugas kamay. Kung sa palagay ninyo, tama kayong content, okay na yan. Nakita ko naman. Nakakita ka ba ng opinion na one page? Res ipsa loquitur, Mr. Chair.
Attorney Asuncion, would you like to reply to all the messages, to all the manifestations?
Well, insofar as that piece of document is concerned, Your Honor, I don't have any idea if it was presented by our counsel as part of our evidence, Your Honor.
Attorney Asuncion, kung sakasakali
I
po,
don't know exactly what you're referring to, Your Honor.
kung sakasakali po dahil ito ay pera ng gobyerno at kayo po ang nag-approve dito para maupurbahan na rin po sa board, di po ba?
Your Honor, what was required at that time are the supporting documents for each and every unclaimed refund, Your Honor. The entry in that document does not actually, it does not actually refer
Attorney
to...
Asuncion, huwag na po tayo mag-argue kung ano yung nangyari sa dokumento.
Your Honor.
Yes, Attorney Asuncion, ako po kasi ayoko na makipag-argue sa inyo dun sa dokumento na lumabas. Kasi sa akin, yung inyong mismong kalaban nagsabi na may utang siya sa kanyang mga pasyente. Ang pinupunto ko lang ho dito, pondo to ng gobyerno. At isa po kayo sa mga nag-aproba dito, kasama na po dito siguro yung mga kung saan man kayo kumuha pang approval. Now, to my mind, Attorney Asuncion, this will be a major case to be decided by the committee. At alam niyo po na this is plunder. And this would constitute plunder. So, Attorney Asuncion, I'd just like to refer to you na mabigat po talaga itong kaso para sa amin.
Mr. Chair, can I wind up?
Yes, go ahead.
Attorney Asuncion, nung ikaw ay nagsaserve na Senior Vice President, ang member ng Board of Commissioner, si Dean Bautista. Wala ka bang supervision sa kanya?
Well, I was monitoring the case, Your Honor.
You were monitoring the
Yes,
case.
Your Honor.
Kasi kung aaminin mo na ang sabi ng court, inaccurate ang demand ninyo, gawa-gawa nyo lang ba yung 240 million? Ang Philhealth pa, bilang isang government corporation, gawa-gawa lang ba yung 240 million?
What was I was after, Your
No,
Honor?
tinatanong kita, pwede bang i-assume mo na gawa-gawa lamang yung 240 million? Kasi sabi ng korte, inaccurate, walang basis.
After we have presented all the
Kaya
evidence,
nga,
Your Honor,
attorney, lumalabas, walang basis ang 240 million, gawa-gawa nyo lang. Ganun ang implication eh. Tama?
that was the finding of the court, Your Honor.
Sumagot ka ng matino. Gawa-gawa lang, hindi ba? Sabi ng court kasi walang basis eh. Inaccurate. 70 lang ang na-prove eh. Eh di ba lumilitaw gawa-gawa? Hindi ko kayang aminin yun. Philhealth, isang napakalanging institution, 200 billion a year institution, Mr. Chair. Gagawa ng demand na 240 million, it is based on thin air. Inconsistent ang sagot mo, attorney. Hindi gawa-gawa yun. Kanina nga sinabi ko sa'yo, there were two attorney Pucalan, isa ka sa nagsabi kahapon, hindi ba? You were here yesterday. Yesterday or Monday?
I think it was Attorney Villegas.
Kasama ka, dito ka nakaupo nung isang araw eh. Si Attorney Villegas, nandyan. Ikaw dito ka eh. Nandito ka eh. Dalawa kayo, you confirm the validity of the 240 million. Ngayon, hindi mo sasabihin ulit, magsisinungaling ka? Ano?
Attorney Pucalan?
Nandito ka nakaupo. Kitang-kita kita eh. Si Attorney Valle doon. Pareho niyong ni-ratify, pareho niyong na-determine yung validity. Kasi nga papunta tayo doon sa accounting eh. Sinabi ko sa inyo kahapon, nung isang araw ito. Tapos, yes, Your Honor, talagang valid yan. O ngayon, sabi ni Attorney Asuncion, talaga pong ganun ang ano ng korte, para bang very casual lang. Mr. Chair, very casual lang talaga pong ganun eh.
Attorney, that was Attorney Villegas also.
Ha?
Attorney Pucalan and Attorney Villegas. Ang nagsabi po nung pag-reply sa
Attorney Valle?
Villegas.
O, Attorney Villegas at saka sino?
At Attorney Pucalan.
O, yun nga. Kahapon ba tayo nag-hearing o nung Lunes?
Tuesday.
O, Tuesday.
Attorney Villegas, maybe you want to reply because narinig ko rin kita kahapon when you mentioned that.
Yes sir, as far as I can remember sir, maabot po ng ganun siya. Kasi ang process po nung before sa legal, we demand the hospital to submit their financial statement stating the unclaimed refund po ng mga hospital.
Kaya nga, Attorney Villegas, kahapon sinabi ko, HMI and PHIC nagkaroon ng agreement for a joint reconciliation and accounting. Di ba? Hanggang sa papunta na kayo sa pag-i-establish talaga, bumitaw ang HMI. Pero maliwanag na nai-establish na ninyo yung basis. And you and Attorney Pucalan categorically testified that there was a very valid basis for that demand letter of Philhealth. Didn't you say that?
Attorney Villegas.
Yes sir, as far as I can remember sir.
Ayan, Attorney Asuncion. Dalawa na abogado ng Philhealth na nagsabi na may batayan yung 240 million. Ngayon, sasabihin mo sa amin, talaga pong ganun eh. Yun po yung napatunayan po ng korte. Ito yung mahirap eh. Di sasabihin mo ngayon, o di gawa-gawa lang. Sabi mo kanina, opo, ganun ang implication, gawa-gawa lang. So sino ngayon? Gawa-gawa nung dalawang pinagpipitagang abogado ng PhilHealth, gawa-gawa nila yon? Yung demand letter?
Before you reply, Attorney Asuncion, Attorney Pucalan, we have not heard you on the record.
Sir, the 240 million was the basis of the demand letters, no? So I think there was a basis for the issuance of the demand letter.
Parang hindi ganyan nasagot mo ng Martes. But anyway, Attorney Asuncion, kindly continue.
No, Your Honor, I just wanted to explain actually that all that I was saying was that maybe after the court has appreciated all the evidence presented, the court just found out that it was only 70, Your Honor. Actually, that was the very purpose of the judicial accounting, because there was a big difference between what HMI was saying and what Philhealth was also saying, Your Honor. So that's why we were forced to have the judicial accounting when they filed the case.
Yun lang ba ang may paliwanag po ninyo, Atty. Asuncion?
Your Honor.
Yun lang po ang kaya nyo ipaliwanag. Ganun lang. Yun lang ang explanation natin.
That's I'm just
Yun nga, yun lang masasabi natin.
the factual attendant facts and circumstances.
Ito nga yung factual. Ito nga yung factual. We started at 240 million by 2 demand letters. You took your sweet time. Ikaw ang senior vice president. Dapat sana you have played an active role there. Because this is 240 million. Binigyan nyo ng 15 days, hindi nagbayad. Binigyan pa ninyo ng 60, so many days, hindi nagbayad. Hinintay nyo after 1 year, kayo ang idinimanda. So, ano yung masasabi namin dito? Wala talaga kayong ginawa para proteksyonan ang pera ng Philhealth. Kasi, imbes na porsigidong kayo ang mag-demand talaga, kayo dapat ang nagdemanda, halatang halata naman na hinintay pa niyong kayo ang demanda para magkaroon ng judicial accounting. Di ba? Ang totoo nun, 2 beses kayo sinulatan ng HMI. Nagsusumikap na, sige po, mag-compromise na lang po tayo. Ganito po, ganyan-ganyan. Di ba? Ayun, hanggang sa dumating ang panahon, nagdemanda nga siya. Si Dean Bautista, ang dapat na nandito, Mr. Chair, sapagkat siya yung board, isa siya sa board, member ng Board of Commissioner. Ngayon, ang sabi mo naman, minomonitor mo. Paano mo minomonitor yun? Na mas matibay pala yung informasyon at data ng HMI kaysa sa data ninyo. Bakit naman nagkaganon? Bakit naman po nagkaganon? Di po ba maliwanag na may salamangka dito, Atty. Asuncion? Pagkatapos, sasabihin nyo sa amin, hindi naman po, kami naman po ay pinanigan po ng OGCC. Halatang halata na po ito. Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Honorable Barsaga.
Well, naipaliwanag namang mabuti ng ating kasama na si Deputy Speaker Marcoleta ang isyong ito. 240 million, naging 70 million, nagkaroon ng diferensyang 140 million. So I would just move, Mr. Chairman, that considering the National Bureau of Investigation in the presence of that very competent lady lawyer, Attorney Minerva Repanan, let us include this in our report and let us suggest to the NBI to conduct a preliminary a fact-finding regarding this case. Because I understand this took place in 2011 and under the provisions of the revised penal code. Sa laki nitong amount involved, I think the prescriptive period will be 20 years. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion, duly seconded, there being no objection. The motion of the Honorable Barsaga is carried for the NBI to make a study on this matter for possible filing of case and of course for the government,
Mr. Chairman,
to collect the uncollected funds from
Mr. Chairman.
the respective institutions. So ordered.
manifestation lang po, Mr. Chairman. Nakakalungkot ni CP, ang napakaganda po ng tinura ni Deputy Speaker Marcoleta, no? Para nagiging pattern ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno natin na para lang makalusot, papasok sa mga korte, tapos pagdating sa korte, magkakaroon ng arbitration, masasettle, tapos nakalusot na. Talagang dati po, sinabi ni John Losada na moderate your greed Ngayon talagang nililegalize na po yung greed na ginagamit na po mga korte
para masettle at mapalusutan po ang gobyerno. Yun lang po ang gusto kong sabihin, Mr. Chairman, at talaga nakakalungkot po yung sitwasyon na nangyayari sa atin.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Honorable Barsaga.
so it will be now my turn.
Go ahead, Honorable Barsaga. I would have recognized the Honorable Remulla, but according to age,
Okay.
yes, kindly defer to the Honorable Barsaga for the meantime.
Thank you very much. Ang pinag-uusapan natin kanina, 240 million. Lumipat naman tayo sa 30 billion na IRM. Nakasisimula pa lamang. And I think, Dr.
30 billion.
Ha?
Billion.
30 billion. Hindi na 240 million. Medyo tumaas na tayo ngayon. Well, unang-una, Dr. Pragas, hiniki ko lahat ang summary ng mga executive meeting, agreements, directives, and action points. And this is a very interesting point submitted by Dr. Bernadette Chilico regarding the executive meeting held on January 27, 2020. And this was the point of Congressman Remulla earlier. Release as immediate payment the fund equivalent to 50% of the amount pending claims of ACI and then charge the amount against the IRM fund. Dito, ano ba ang tinutukoy niyong IRM fund? Yung sa Taal volcano eruption o yun sa COVID-19?
Mr. Chair, I think it's the Taal.
Taal. Okay. Sa COVID-19, very clear naman tayo. Meron lamang tayong isang circular of President Morales, circular number 2020-007. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And that circular is dated what specific date in January? Anong date ng January? Yung circular ni General Morales.
Mr. Chair, it's March po.
In March, okay. Pero admitted na natin noong previous hearing and even upon questioning of my colleagues in the House, pati na yung mga kasama nating senador, doon sa circular ni General Morales, very explicit fortuitous event. Tama ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. At ang lagi naming sinasabi, dito naman sa inyong IRM, nagbigay kayo ng IRM sa mga dialysis centers. Nagbigay kayo ng IRM sa ating mga birthing facilities, private. At nagbigay tayo ng IRM kahit nasa ospital na hindi naman gumagamot ng COVID. Tama ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kaya ang lagi namin sinasabi, and the NBI is watching, that this is already a case of technical malversation. Yung ang ating Deputy Speaker, who is not even a lawyer, si Deputy Speaker Fernandez, sinabi niya kanina, you have violated Article 220 of the revised Penal Code. So, I would no longer pursue this issue. Kasi lagi niya na naman sasabihin, iba na naman yung aming intensyon. Ang susunod kong tanong, nagbigay din kayo ng listahan ng inyong actual releases. As of now, magkano na ang actual releases sa IRM?
Mr. Chair, 14 billion, more than 14 billion. More than 14 billion po.
At napag-usapan din kanina na meron ng mga liquidation dito.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Lagi kong binabantayan ang website ng Philhealth at siguro you will agree with me, Dr. Bragas, na up to now, wala pang implementing rules and regulations ang IRM.
Mr. Chair, again,
Hindi, tanong ko, up to now, wala pang implementing rules and regulations ang IRM. As simple as that. Yes or no?
It's the 007, Mr. Chair.
Eh, 007 na naman tayo. Alam mo naman yon, circular eh. Yung bang circular, sa pagkakaintindi mo, the same as implementing rules and regulations under your present oath and considering your length of service sa PhilHealth?
Yeah.
Ha? Hindi, ang tinatanong natin, implementing rules and regulations. Kasi malinaw naman ang batas natin, if there is an implementing rules and regulations, and those are not violative of the law, public policy, public order, those implementing rules and regulations, even though issued by an administrative agency, shall have the same force and effect as a law. Kaya yung IIR, kapareho lamang ng circular ng ating presidente. Ganyan ba ang implementation niya sa PhilHealth? Ang inyong understanding na pareho ang IRR sa
Mr.
circular?
Vargas,
I
probably...
will ask that question to the lawyer.
Kaya nga, sa lawyer na lang siya.
Lawyer, we have 2 lawyers there. 3, pare-pareho ba ang opinion nyo? Attorney Asuncion. Attorney Asuncion, the most seasoned lawyer. Pareho ba ang ibig sabihin ng circular at implementing rules and regulations from the legal point of law? From legal standpoint?
Rules and
Microphone, please.
sorry. Actually, the implementing rules can be in a circular form. It's decided jurisprudence, Your Honor.
Ngayon, I'll give you the benefit of doubt. Doon ba sa inyong circular, sinabi ba kung paano ang liquidation at kung saan magagamit ang IRM? Dr. Bragas. Oh,
Mr. Chair, the liquidation po is on letter F, page 7, the deduction of reimbursement for all valid claims from the IRM fund. So ito po yung liquidation po.
so saan pwedeng gamitin?
Mr. Chair, again, for for critically damaged healthcare system, for claims for treatment done on outpatient relative to the direct or indirect effects of the fortuitous events.
I think it would be the National Bureau of Investigation, after considering your counter affidavit, which shall decide whether or not there is a provision how to liquidate. Another question. Bakit naman tayo nagbigay ng IRM sa mga ospital at dialysis centers na mayroong pending cases? Hindi ba it would be a better policy in times of this national emergency na ang bigyan lang muna natin yung mga walang pending cases? And there was no meeting discussed na kahit na yung may pending cases ay bibigyan natin ng IRM.
For the information of the public, Congressman Barsaga, what are these hospitals with pending cases which were given IRM?
Well, for the record, I can state that. Kaya lang, medyo hahaba ko.
Hindi, okay yan. Pati yung corresponding amount.
Wow. Sa dialysis, those with have pending cases, A plus dialysis center, IRM 9,973,000. Asia Renal Care Philippines Incorporated 4,096,950. B. Brown Abitum Philippines 14,248,218. B. Brown Abitum Philippines 11 million. Baguio to, CAR Cordillera Autonomous Region 11,375,650. Eagle Rock Dialysis Center, Dialysis and Wellness Center 6,643. Eastern Marikina Dialysis Center, 8,274,500 pesos. St. Benedict Dialysis Center, 5,645,250. Then we have Therapy Management Services, Philippines, total of 11,436. And these are all dialysis centers which are private, and the information came from Philhealth. Dr. Bragas.
Dr. Pargas.
Do you admit the authenticity and the correctness of the dialysis centers which I have mentioned together with the amount based on the document which you have submitted?
Mr. Chair, if those are coming from PhilHealth, then it is... Mr. Chair, I have not seen the document, but if those were submitted...
Approach you so that you can see the document.
Congressman Barsaga, a reminder po sa inyo, yung po mask nyo at kayo po ay, hindi, kayo,
Pasensya na.
opo, sa inyo po ako
Nagsalita
nag-aalala.
ako kasi ni Dr. Bragas, hindi niya maintindihan ng aking sinasabi. So, my deepest apologies.
No. I'm worried about you, Congressman Barsaga. Dr. Bragas, kindly reply. Vargas.
Mr. Chair, based on the documents provided po, yes, this is coming from us.
Upon the request of Congressman Boying Remulla, hinihingi niya man sa akin kung ano yung may mga pending cases na mga pagamutan na inyong binigyan ng IRM. Ang total IRM na binigay nyo, 533,182,945.38. Isa namin to. Abra Provincial Hospital Public, 39 cases, 14,979,273.50. Baguio General Hospital, 129 cases, 164,941,028 pesos. Benguet General Hospital, 59 cases pending, 43,842,000. Bishop Regan Private, 18 pending cases, 39 million. Conner District Hospital Public, 5 pending cases, 5,346,000. Divine Word Hospital Private, 45,831,233. Domingo Casano Hospital, 2 pending cases, 12,538,000. Holy Trinity Medical Clinic Private, 25 pending cases, 11,116,330. Luis Ora Memorial Hospital Public, 18 pending cases, 36,949,330. Notre Dame de Charles Hospital Private, 33,445,729, 91 pending cases. Pine City Doctors Hospital Private, number of cases 9, 36,407. St. Louis University of the Sacred Heart, private, 42 pending cases, 34 million 41. And then we have United Doctors Hospital of Kidapawan Incorporated, private, 16 pending cases, 1,975,852. University of Perpetual Health, Delta Medical Center Inc., 7 pending cases, 51,839. And the total is 533,182,945. Dr. Bragas, can you confirm that what I have stated regarding the names of the hospital together with the pending cases which I have mentioned together with the amounts are true and accurate?
Dr. Vargas, kindly reply.
Mr. Chair, according to our core plan, it's from the legal, yes.
Hey, at ang isa pang pinagtataka ng aking mga kababayan, kami niya ang nagtatrabaho sa RITM, alam niyo naman na niya kung pwede sa umpisa ng COVID, kami na lahat ang nag-handle ng testing. But not a single centavo was given to us by Philhealth as IRM. Totoo ba yun?
Aling facilities po? Which facilities, sir? The RITM po did not apply.
Ay,
yes po.
tinawagan niyo ba sila? Sinabi niyo, oy, RITM, kayo ang frontliner namin at the start of the COVID. Sa inyo, nagtetest pati mga congressman. Tapos wala tayong IRM sa kanila. At ang amount ng inyong computation is only sa RITM, ang amount lamang ng inyong computation is only 35,199,120.
Taga, yung RITM po, ito yung nag-check kung positive.
Ha?
Ito po yung RITM na nag-check kung ikaw ay positive sa COVID. Okay, so ito yung pinaka-critical sa lahat ng ospital natin dito sa kampanya ng COVID.
RITM, Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, situated at Muntinlupa City. Hindi nyo nabigyan ito ng IRM.
Mr. Chair, may computed IRM po, but ang alam ko po, hindi sila nag-apply. That's why hindi
Sila
po
nag-apply?
nabigyan. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, next question. Ang isa pang issue natin sa IRM, number 1, I ask for your regular budget for 2020. Wala tayong provision doon for IRM or for any contingency. Who will be the most competent senior vice president present who can answer my inquiry? Oh, wala namang magsagot. Mr. Lichako.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, magandang hapon po. Sa budget po ng Philhealth na kinover yung IRM po ay kasama po doon sa estimated ng ating actuary na 184 billion, Your Honor, for year 2020 po.
Saan nyo kinuha?
Sa corporate operating budget year 2020. COB, Your Honor.
Oo, huwag mo sabihin corporate operation. I am reminding you that you are testifying under oath. During the previous hearing, and
Mr.
I have
Chair.
seen it during
Mr. Chair,
the
with
financial
indulgence of,
statements for the year ending
Congressman
2019,
Balsaga, Mr. Chair.
na itong 30 billion, kinuha nyo sa special savings. Tama ba o hindi?
Your Honor, ang sinasabi po natin, ang allocation po ng budget po niya ay nasa COB ng 2020 po, nandiyan sa 184. Yung pera po, yung cash po ay kinuha po sa special savings deposit po. Yung 100,
Special savings.
yung 14 billion po.
At admitted na natin, during the previous hearing, na doon sa special savings, pagkuha nyo ng 30 billion, wala tayong board resolution authorizing to use the special savings in the sum of 30 billion for IRM. Tama ba o hindi?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor,
Simple lamang, meron ba tayong board resolution?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, yung approval po ng board sa 30 billion po, ang pagkaintindi po namin,
Meron o wala?
kasama na po yung source of fund po doon.
Tanong ko, meron o wala?
Mr. Chair, it was mentioned during the board
Hindi nga, ang
presentation
haba
po.
ng sagot mo eh. Simple lang tanong. Yung bang 30 billion
Sorry mga awang.
na
Meron ba?
kinuha nyo sa special savings, meron bang board resolution ang board of directors ng PhilHealth? As simple as that.
Attorney
Can be
Mangawang
answered
of
by
the...
yes or no.
Attorney Mangawang, nung ating board, corporate sec, meron ba wala?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Mr. Congressman. When the management presented the IRM
Kaya tanong lamang simple. Abogado naman kayo. It is answerable by yes or no. Meron bang board resolution yung paggamit ng 30 billion from special savings to IRM? Yes or no?
So there is no mention in the PBR.
No, there is no board resolution.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no board resolution. Next question. Sa pag-iimbestiga pa ng Senado, sinasabi na wala kayong withholding tax na ginawa doon sa IRM. Tama ba yun? Totoo ba yun? Oh, Dr. Bragas.
Vargas.
Sir, pa-clarify lang po, sorry. Ano po yun?
Withholding yung releases nyo ng IRM. Ang sinasabi ng aking mga kasama, pati na ng ating mga senador, wala kayong withholding tax na ginawa.
Mr. Chair, I think our fund management can answer to that.
Mr. Dimsiako.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang as mentioned po in the...
Simple lamang ang tanong, mayroon ba o walang withholding tax ang IRM na inyong nirelease?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ang wala po na withheld automatic po doon sa pag-release po natin. Hindi po na automatic na deduct po yung withholding tax sa pag-release po natin. Ito po ay, however po on the part po ni PhilHealth, ito po ay para po ma-settle yung obligation po natin sa BIR. Nag-release po si PhilHealth.
Simple lang tayo. Nag-release kayo halimbawa ng 100 million IRM sa isang ospital. Wala kayong withholding tax for that 100 million.
Ito po ang pagkaintindi po natin ay advances po ito sa ating hospital.
Oo nga.
Po, hindi
Pero
po
ang ibig mo bang sabihin, pag advances sa ospital, walang withholding tax?
Yun po ang corporate policy po na ng PhilHealth po.
Ano?
Yun po ang pag-set up po ng corporate policy ng PhilHealth po.
Corporate policy ng PhilHealth?
Yes po, sir.
Can you give us the written corporate policy of PhilHealth na hindi tayo mag-withhold ng tax sa IRM?
Yes po, sir. We will provide, sir.
Ha?
We will provide, sir.
Oh, provided. Paano naman provided? Kasi ang sinasabi ko sa inyo, what is your computation of IRM?
As to the computation of IRM, Mr.
No,
Chair, Your
the
Honor,
computation ng IRM. The computation is that it would be the average claim of a healthcare institution for 1 day for a total period of 90 days based on their collections during the previous year. Tama ba?
based po sa circular po, that's average value per day.
Tama ba yung sinabi ko o mali?
90 days po, Your
Kaya nga, 3 months, 90 days.
Yes po, sir.
Oh, kaya kung ako ang ospital, pinigyan niyo ako ng 100 million, I can use that 100 million to liquidate kung ano man ang nagastos ng ospital for COVID and other related cases. Yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, paano na yung 10% ng gobyerno na withholding? Saan kukunin ng ospital yon? Kayo withholding agent.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, ay makukuha rin po natin ang ating para sa tax
Kung
po.
2% man lamang, sabi ng aking kaibigan.
Makukuha din po natin na
ano ang withholding?
tax po. Opo, makukuha rin natin po yan. Mr. Chair.
Ano withholding rate?
The withholding rate po is 2% expanded withholding tax po.
Yan ang sinasabi natin. Okay. Pagkatapos, marami rin nagsasabi sa aking LGU. Meron kayong primary care benefit program. Tama ba yan?
Come again, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, may I interject with the indulgence of my friend who is a senior citizen already? Para makapagpahinga ka naman. Kasi since he is dealing on technical and more complicated policies.
The junior of the senior is recognized. Honorable Marcoleta. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dr. Pargas, kasi ang dami pong nagtatanong sa akin, sa mga kasama ko, naguguluhan sila sa pagpapatupad ng PhilHealth policies. Will you confirm that there is much confusion in the implementation of PhilHealth policies? Ang dami po kasing nagtatanong, maybe on the basis of this, pwede nyo mag-confirm na medyo naguguluhan sila.
Mr. Chair, maaari pong merong ilang hindi gaano
Okay. Tama po. Ang totoo niyan, hindi lamang po yung ordinary patients ang naguguluhan, maski na po yung mga health providers. Dahil po sa mga madalas na pagbabago ng mga yung polisiya sa pag-avail ng benefits admission. For example, Dr. Pargas, meron pong paghihirap sa pag-avail ng mga voluntary paying members. Meron kayong unang policy, ang nire-require nyo lang ay 1/4 payment sa contribution. Bigla niyong binago ng 3/4 nang hindi ninyo masyadong ipinaliliwanag. Kaya nagkakagulo pati hospital po eh. Will you confirm this? Na may kaguluhan ng konti?
Mr. Chair, opo.
Okay. Maski na sa maternal package requirements sa pag-avail ng benefit, complicated din sa mga voluntary paying members. What is the requirement for primigravida?
For primigravida, sir.
Yeah.
Requirement for...
Para maka-avail siya. Kasi paying members ito eh. Voluntary paying members. Ipakikita ko lang sa iyo na hindi pare-pareho, hindi consistent ang policies ninyo.
Sa ngayon, Chair, pagdating po sa primi or kahit po pang ilan na niyang panganganak...
Hindi, sa primigravida lang. Kasi primigravida, una pa lang siyang manganganak, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oo.
Sa ngayon po, wala po tayong nire-require na contribution because under the UHC law, meron na po tayong immediate availment. Tapos,
pero hindi ganyan ang policy nyo pag outpatient pregnant women, lalong-lalo na ibabase ninyo doon sa dami ng kanyang prenatal visits, hindi ba? Tama, kaya nga hindi nga consistent, nagkakagulo-gula. Walang uniform na policy requirement kung ikukumpara natin sa ibang maternal packages na binibigay ng ibang health facilities. You have to recognize na walang consistency, tama?
Siguro, Mr. Chair, siguro po meron sa pamamaraan ng pagbibigay ng informasyon.
Okay, but this is only on the matter of policy. May I go on a few examples doon sa coverage ng specific diseases? Bakit po yung disease package sa pneumonia sa pregnant women mas mababa kumpara doon sa hindi buntis na babae?
Mr. Chair, hindi po totoo yan because again, meron po tayong pakete. So kung pulmonya
Dr.
po ito...
Pargas, do not assume that I am asking these questions primarily because I knew it. I am not the medical doctor. But you will have to be assured na bago ko magtatanong sa'yo, I would have asked these questions and I was advised by not a few doctors. Ito ang kanilang conclusion. Yung disease package for pneumonia kapag ka buntis, mas mababa pag hindi buntis ang babae. Ito yung dapat ninyong pag-aralan. Bakit? Bakit merong hindi parehong pakete para sa acute gastritis at acute gastroenteritis sa non-pregnant women pero iisa lang pagkabuntis na babae? Can you explain this?
Mr. Chair, ang atin pong mga pakete ay pare-pareho po. So,
hindi nga eh.
Kailangan ko pong ma-check kung saan yan.
Pakinggan mo muna. Ang coverage ninyo hindi pareho pagka acute gastritis and acute gastroenteritis kapag hindi buntis ang babae. Pero pareho lang sa dalawang yun pagka ang babae ay buntis. Ito yung napapansin kaya nagkakagulo-gulo eh. Kaya nakikita namin, sinadya pa rin yung gulo-gulohin para mas lalo ninyong makita na hindi ninyo na talagang nai-implement ng mabuti. Ito paano? Yung coverage po ng disease sa infirmary category ng health facilities, mas mababa kung ikukumpara po doon sa high-level facilities, samantalang ang management ng treatment ay pareho lang.
Mr. Chair, it's
Diba?
at 70% po sa
Kaya nga,
ating
mas mababa, di ba? So, parang mali. Bakit yung maternal package sa birthing homes ay mataas ang coverage kaysa sa ospital na kumpleto ang facilities?
Mr. Birthing homes, it's at 8,000. For the hospitals,
Kaya nga,
it's at
bakit nga
6,000.
hindi pareho?
Mr. Chair, for this particular case po, because the procedure or yung panganganak is a normal delivery at yung pong kasama sa polisiya natin is to change the behavior, especially sa panganganak, na dapat po sila ay doon sa ating mga birthing homes or lying in na kung saan hindi na po sila makikipag-agawan sa isang ospital na dapat nagtitingin ng more complicated cases. The fact that these facilities are being licensed also and being run by either the doctor or a midwife who is capable or licensed to provide the maternity care. So meron din po dun sa principle ng provider payment mechanism is to how to provide enough incentive to change the behavior, especially of the patients. So i-encourage po natin
Yun ang sinasabi ko sa iyo, Dr. Vargas Napakahaba ng sinagot mo. Ang tinatanong ko lang, bakit naman hindi mo papagpareuhin? Pareho namang maternal package yung nagkataon lang nasa birthing homes yung isa naman nando sa ospital na kumpleto ang pasilidad. Mahirap po nilang intindihin yung ganun kasi napakasimple lang nito. Yun lang. Pagkatapos, Dr. Vargas, may mga sakit, may mga diseases na nangangailangan ng more medical workups, no? Mga medical treatment. Mas marami. At kung minsan yung kanilang medication ay mas mahal. Pero mas mababa ang benefit kung pag-uusapan ay mga simpleng kaso na nagre-require lang ng lesser medical management. Ay, bigyan kita ng halimbawa. Pneumonia versus urinary tract infection. Yung urinary tract infection sa ideal medical management, mangangailangan din ito ng administration ng strong antibiotics. Equal to pareho lang ng pneumonia. Pero yung fixed rate ng UTI, kalahati lang ng pneumonia. Pareho lang, strong antibiotics ang kakailanganin mo.
Dr. Vargas, for the record, 3 danata, more or less ang cases ninyo, di ba? Ang all case rates nyo, 300 plus.
All case rates po natin, for the medical cases, it's around 4,000 plus.
Wow.
For the surgery, it's 4,000 plus also.
So 8,000. Okay, kindly reply to the point of the Honorable Marcoleta.
So, makukonfirm mo, halos pareho lang ang medication ito. Ideal medical management, pareho lang strong antibiotics ang gagamitin mo rito. Pero pang titingnan mo, kalahati lang ang coverage ng UTI kung ikukumpara mo sa pneumonia. Mahirap pong intindihin ng ordinaryong pasyente ito We are representing also yung mga pasyenteng ordinaryo. Kung minsan nga, hindi nga maipaliwanag ng hospital ito Kaya tulungan nyo sila. Example ba, allergic bronchitis versus acute bronchitis, Dr. Vargas. Itong parehong ito ay upper respiratory infections ito at halos pareho din ang medical management dito. Pero yung allergic bronchitis, mas mataas ang package ng benefit kaysa dito sa acute bronchitis. Napansin mo? Mahirap intindihin sa ordinaryong pasyente. Kaya dapat i-rationalize ninyo acute gastroenteritis versus hypertension.
Honorable Marcoleta, with your indulgence, magtatapos na lang po si Honorable Barsaga with his time.
Yung acute gastroenteritis in severe cases, Dr. Vargas, ay nangangailangan ng more medical treatment and fluid replacement, alam mo yan. Over uncomplicated hypertension na ang medical management yan ay oral lang, oral medication. Pero mas mataas ang pakete ng hypertension. So hindi maintindihan ng ordinaryong pasyente ito. Ang dami ninyong dapat na ayusin. Bakit yung adult pneumonia at pediatric pneumonia have the same fixed coverage? Hindi ba ang adult, katulad ni Cong Barsaga, mas mataas naman yung pangangailangan niya ng medication kumpara mo sa pediatric na katulad naman ni Congressman Dan Fernandez. Ang layo naman ng edad ng dalawang ito. Inconsistent na naman eh. Bakit merong confusion sa policy formulation sa pakete related to pneumonia and lower respiratory tract infection? Hindi ba itong dalawang ito, Dr. Vargas? These two have different benefits coverage. Bakit? Hindi ba sa medical classification, yung pneumonia is a lower respiratory tract infection? Pareho lang yun eh. Pneumonia and lower respiratory tract infection, pareho lang yun eh. Ang ibig sabihin, pag sinabi mong Kong Boying Remulla, kapareho din ni Kong Crispin Remulla. Because pneumonia and lower respiratory tract infection is one and the same. Hindi ba? Pero, iba-iba yung pakete nyo. So, Mr. Chair, lang po gusto nating emphasize, sa policy pa lang, nagkakagulo na po yung mga tao. Hindi ko po malaman kung sinadya po talaga ito ng Philhealth. Marami po kayong dapat na ayusin, alang-alang po sa magandang pagpapatupad ng polisiya, ang delivery service, health service ng Philhealth. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Marcoleta. Congressman Barsaga, please continue.
Kanina, nabanggit din sa akin ng mga kaibigan kong mayor na sila ay merong primary care package, accredited sila ng Philhealth, pero hindi raw sila nababayaran ng Philhealth. More or less, magkano ang utang ng Philhealth sa mga LGUs regarding the so-called primary care package?